Chapter 620. Back then, Tang Ao had wondered if the primordial sacred sky Bao didn't have a weapon spirit. But now, Tang Ao understood that it wasn't that the primordial sacred sky Bao didn't have a weapon spirit, but that the weapon spirit was too stupid. Hence, the heavenly Bao sect's supreme elder used the same method as Tang Ao to control the primordial sacred sky Bao. Tang Ao's current opponents were mostly at the Sea of Souls realm. Hence, he didn't need the weapon spirit's help. With the primordial sacred sky Bao's strength as a 9th grade weapon, the opponents that Tang Ao encountered now didn't need the primordial sacred sky Bao to use its full power to kill. Hence, Tang Ao could only ask the weapon spirit not to interfere when he controlled the primordial sacred sky Bao. Otherwise, if Tang Ao couldn't communicate with the weapon spirit, it would weaken the primordial sacred sky Bao's power. But Tang Ao knew that he would have to communicate with the weapon spirit sooner or later. It was just that reaching this step wasn't something that could be done overnight. The most important thing now was to heal Xia Qianyu's injuries as soon as possible. Then, he would think of a way to refine the primordial sacred sky Bao's 300th layer of star restriction. Now that Tang Ao's cultivation had been temporarily raised to the 7th floor of Linghai Jing by the mysterious clear mirror, the strength of his soul power was already comparable to a life and death realm warrior. If he refined the primordial sacred sky Bao now, Tang Ao had 100% chance of success. But now clearly wasn't the time to refine the primordial sacred sky Bao. Tang Ao took out a soft fox fur coat from his storage ring and placed Xia Qianyu, who was in his arms, on it. Tang Ao was originally an unrestrained and free person. Being hugged by a beauty like Xia Qianyu in his arms, even if Tang Ao could sit still, it was still extremely torturous for Tang Ao. Hence, Tang Ao didn't continue taking advantage of her. Instead, he placed Xia Qianyu on the soft fox fur coat. When Tang Ao hugged Xia Qianyu, he felt that his hands were soft, as if he was hugging a ball of water. It was a wonderful feeling. However, Tang Ao did not continue reminiscing about it. At this moment, through Tang Ao's long period of hard work, the damage to Xia Qianyu's meridians had already been 90% repaired by Tang Ao's Jade Bone Life Soul. However, 90% of the injuries were the most obvious and could be easily sensed by the Jade Bone Life Spirit. The remaining 10% of internal injuries was what gave Tang Ao the biggest headache. Normally speaking, after a martial artist's meridians were damaged, it would be extremely difficult to recover. Even if he could repair it, it would be a miracle if he could repair more than 60% of his meridians. However, due to Tang Ao's rare Jade Bone Life Soul, it was a piece of cake for Tang Ao to recover from such injuries. In the various large auction houses, as long as it was a spiritual item that could repair a cultivator's meridians, it would be inflated to a sky-high price. Some spiritual doctors who could nurture meridians and simply repair meridians became highly sought after in the eyes of the public. But even so, up to now, among the known spiritual items, the most precious one could only repair a cultivator's damaged meridians to 90% of their original state. Even the most skilled spiritual doctor would have a headache when faced with a cultivator with damaged meridians. If it was a minor injury, a spiritual doctor could still treat it. But if it was an injury like Xia Qianyu's, in Tang Ao's memory, there was no spiritual doctor who could treat it. Thinking of this, Tang Ao's eyes lit up. Whether it was cultivating a martial technique, awakening a life soul, or even a duel between martial artists, it was very easy for a cultivator's meridians to be damaged. It was just that most of the injuries were too minor, and the physique of a martial artist was much stronger than that of a normal person. Their recovery ability was also more terrifying. Chapter 621. Tang Ao had been short of money before, and he was still thinking about how to earn some spirit stones. He didn't expect that he had already mastered the way to make money, but he just didn't have this idea. This time when he healed Xia Qianyu, Tang Ao naturally thought of this matter. Although this method was feasible, he still needed to think about how to do it. At least, he didn't have to think about those things at all now. Tang Ao's top priority now was to help Xia Qinyu repair the damage to her meridians as soon as possible. After that, he had to find a way to refine the 300th layer of star enchantment of the primordial sacred heaven Bao as soon as possible. If he really couldn't refine it, then Tang Ao had no other way. Tang Ao was now at the 5th floor of Linghai Jing, and most of the mainstream martial artists on the snowfield were at the 6th level of Sea of Soul's realm. Although Tang Ao had the rare hidden jade body in stone, and his many life souls were powerful and terrifying, these martial artists who could survive until now were certainly not ordinary people. Tang Ao could deal with one or two of them, but if there were more, Tang Ao would inevitably fail miserably. Now that the rare treasure appeared on the snowfield, everyone was each other's opponent. And Tang Ao believed that most of the martial artists on the snowfield should have known that Tai Ching Xian mirror was in the hands of him and Xia Qinyu. Therefore, as soon as Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu appeared on the snowfield, they would immediately become the target of public criticism. The 8th grade divine weapon was a treasure that determined the fate of a sect. Although the 8th grade divine weapon, Tai Ching Xian mirror, belonged to the Taiching sect in name, with the current strength of the Taiching sect, it was obviously unable to protect this 8th grade divine weapon. Therefore, even if Xia Qinyu took Tai Ching Xian mirror out of Underworld Emperor's secret realm, it would bring disaster to the Taiching sect because the current Taiching sect didn't have the power to protect this 9th grade divine weapon. An innocent man would get into trouble because of his wealth. This kind of thing happened a lot in the Black-Yellow continent. Tang Ao healed Xia Qinyu's injuries for 2 hours. Tai Ching Xian mirror temporarily improved Tang Ao's cultivation and soul power, which had long disappeared. The temporary increase in cultivation and soul power from the Supreme Purity Profound Mirror could only last for the time it took for an incense stick to burn. After the time it took for a stick of incense to burn, not only would one's cultivation and soul power return to their original level, but the martial artist would also become abnormally exhausted. After Tang Ao's cultivation and soul power returned to their original levels, he continued to repair and correct Xia Qinyu's meridians. Tang Ao was now extremely exhausted. If it weren't for the danger in the snowfield, Tang Ao would really want to have a good sleep. After repairing all of Xia Qinyu's damaged meridians, Tang Ao's soul power was almost completely depleted. Right now, Tang Ao only felt a stabbing pain in his sea of consciousness, a symptom of overusing his soul force. Tang Ao's soul power was far stronger than other martial artists of the same level because of the ancient god moving the heavens technique and the jade bone life soul. Therefore, it was very rare for Tang Ao's soul power to be consumed to this extent. Tang Ao sat cross-legged beside Xia Qinyu, quietly running the ancient god moving the heavens technique to restore his soul power. Under the control of Tang Ao, light green spots of light constantly floated out of Xia Qinyu's body. These light green spots were naturally Tang Ao's jade bone life soul. At this moment, the injuries on Xia Qinyu's body had been repaired and corrected by Tang Ao. It was not advisable to use Tai Ching Xian mirror with the help of the jade bone life soul. Chapter 622. As Tang Ao sat down cross-legged to recover his soul power, Xia Qinyu smacked her lips again, as though she was dreaming of eating again. Seeing Xia Qinyu's alluring red lips slightly open, Tang Ao really wanted to kiss her. Senior brother Tang Ao, do you think I can really become a life and death realm martialist? Xia Qinyu suddenly asked as Tang Ao looked at her. Tang Ao was quite frightened by Xia Qinyu, but he soon realized that she was actually talking in her sleep. But Tang Ao still nodded. Xia Qinyu's martial talent was not bad, and Tang Ao had just helped her correct her meridians. Moreover, there were countless opportunities and treasures in the Underworld Emperor mystic realm. With Xia Qinyu's martial talent, it would not be difficult for her to become a life and death realm martialist after leaving the mystic realm. The only flaw was that although Xia Qianyu had the mysterious clear mirror, it was too heavy of a burden on a martialist's meridians. Xia Qianyu couldn't use the mysterious clear mirror as she pleased. Otherwise, with the mysterious clear mirror's power as an 8th-grade weapon, if Xia Qianyu could use it as she pleased, it would be hard for her to find a match in the underworld emperor mystic realm. While Tang Ao was recovering, the primordial sacred sky bow was circling around Tang Ao. At this moment, Tang Ao was not controlling the primordial sacred sky bow, but he was letting the artifact's spirit move freely. Although the frost blood snake was stupid, it could still carry out simple communication with Tang Ao. However, Tang Ao was unable to communicate with the artifact's spirit of the primordial sacred sky bow. He could only understand one order from Tang Ao. When fighting, Tang Ao told him not to interfere with the control of the primordial sacred sky bow. Other times it could do whatever it wanted. Facing such an artifact spirit, Tang Ao found it hard to imagine how hard he would work to make it communicate with him. Tang Ao adjusted his breathing for a moment before he sent his soul power into the primordial sacred heavenly bow. Under the perception of Tang Ao's soul power, the interior of the primordial sacred heavenly bow was like a galaxy, with 1,800 star restrictions arranged within it. It was a magnificent sight. Among the 1,800 star restrictions, there were 299 star restrictions that shone brilliantly. Tang Ao had already refined these 299 star restrictions. Now, Tang Ao was going to refine the 300th star restriction. At this moment, Tang Ao's soul power had yet to fully recover. Tang Ao didn't want to refine the 300th star restriction in such a state. Therefore, Tang Ao just wanted to study the 300th star restriction. According to the records of the Divine Armament Register, the astral restriction in the primordial sacred heavenly bow would change once every 300 layers were refined. Tang Ao had a premonition that if he refined the 300th star restriction, the primordial sacred heavenly bow's power would definitely be much stronger than it was now. Therefore, Tang Ao was prepared to refine the 300th layer of the primordial sacred sky bow's star restriction before heading to the snowfield to hunt the snow monsters. Xia Qinyu was unconscious now, and Tang Ao couldn't leave her side. Therefore, Tang Ao could use this time to refine the 300th layer of the primordial sacred heavenly bow's star restriction. After observing the restrictions on the 300th level, Tang Ao withdrew his soul power and did his best to recover his soul power and adjust his condition. After a round of torment, Tang Ao still decided to use the secret technique of burning his essence blood to increase his soul power. Then, he would refine the 300th star restriction in one go. Chapter 623. In his previous life, Tang Ao was a peak level 9 astral reaching realm martial artist. How much cultivation experience did he have? Therefore, Tang Ao naturally knew that this kind of situation was a sign that his soul power was about to break through. For Tang Ao to break through his soul power at this time was simply a blessing from the heavens. The reason why Tang Ao couldn't refine the 300th layer of the primordial sacred sky bow was because Tang Ao's soul power was not strong enough. If Tang Ao's soul power made another breakthrough, Tang Ao had at least an 80% chance of refining the 300th layer without burning his essence blood. In this way, Tang Ao naturally wouldn't need to spend a lot of time to recover. As long as Xia Qinyu woke up, Tang Ao could immediately take her to the snowy plains and kill everyone. Thinking of this, Tang Ao started to focus on adjusting his condition, hoping to break through to the life and death realm martial artist's strength in one go. Normally, a martial artist's soul power and cultivation base would grow at the same time. A first-level Sea of Souls realm martial artist could only have the soul power of the first level. There were a few martial artists who were born with abundant soul power. Although their soul power could grow faster than their cultivation base, it wouldn't be too far behind. However, Tang Ao's hidden jade body was a martial body that was 1 in a billion. Martial artists with the hidden jade body would still have a hidden jade in their body in the early stages, and there wouldn't be anything special about it. However, once the hidden jade body was awakened, the martial artist's meridians would gradually become unobstructed and extremely tough. The body's strength would also continue to grow as time passed, and the soul power would also grow steadily. The martial art that Tang Ao trained was the ancient secret ancient god moving sky art. This level of martial art was something that even Tang Ao, a 9th-level astral-reaching realm martial artist in his previous life, didn't have the chance to see. However, in this life, Tang Ao had been training this kind of heaven-defying martial art since the beginning. Apart from increasing a martial artist's cultivation, the ancient god moves the heavens technique also continuously tempered a martial artist's spiritual power and soul power, increasing the strength of a martial artist's spiritual power and soul power. In addition, Tang Ao had also awakened the unique Jade Bone Life Soul. As for the Jade Bone Life Soul, it was constantly nourishing Tang Ao's soul and physique. Therefore, Tang Ao's soul power had already far exceeded his own cultivation level. Tang Ao was only a martial artist on the 5th floor of Linghai Jing, but Tang Ao's soul power had already reached the strength of a martial artist on the 9th floor of Linghai Jing. Now, Tang Ao was prepared to raise his soul power to the level of a life and death realm martial artist. This was something that had never happened in the entire Black-Yellow continent. According to the records of the 7 Kills sect, there were many martial artists with abundant innate soul power among the billions of geniuses in the Black-Yellow continent. However, the most abnormal among them could only be like Tang Ao, raising his soul power to the peak of the Sea of Soul realm from the low level of the Sea of Soul realm. Wanting to raise one's soul power to the level of life and death realm at the Sea of Soul realm was an absolutely shocking and impossible matter. And this was exactly what Tang Ao wanted to do. In his previous life, Tang Ao had almost reached the peak of the martial artists in the Black-Yellow continent. If it were before, Tang Ao would have thought that he was already the peak of the martial artists in the Black-Yellow continent. But now, Tang Ao could only say that he had almost reached the peak of the martial artists in the Black-Yellow continent. Chapter 624. In his previous life, when Tang Ao cultivated to the peak of the 9th level of astral reaching realm, he vaguely felt that there was an even higher realm on the path of martial Tao. However, after Tang Ao cultivated to the peak of the 9th level of astral reaching realm for thousands of years, no matter how hard Tang Ao cultivated, he found it hard to advance his cultivation base. Therefore, Tang Ao felt that the peak of the 9th level of astral reaching realm was the end of the martial Tao. However, after witnessing Hades Emperor and Shenong Emperor's skills, Tang Ao felt that there was definitely an even higher realm above the 9th level of astral reaching realm. And Hades Emperor and Shenong Emperor were experts of this realm. At the same time, Tang Ao was also very puzzled. In his previous life, when Tang Ao cultivated to the peak of the 9th level of astral reaching realm, he was already a near-invincible existence in the Black-Yellow continent. Even the Supreme Elder of the Heavenly Bao sect personally made a move and used the 9th-grade divine weapon Primordial Sacred Sky Bao, but still failed to kill Tang Ao. And Hades Emperor and Shenong Emperor's strength was definitely above Tang Ao's. How did these two people fall? 9th-level astral-reaching realm martial artists had almost the same lifespan as the heavens and earth. Naturally, they wouldn't die from the exhaustion of their lifespan. Although Tang Ao really wanted to solve these doubts, at the moment, Tang Ao couldn't even leave the 3rd trial of the Shenong ruins. He could only obediently increase his soul power and refine the 300th layer of the primordial sacred sky Bao. This time, Tang Ao's soul power breakthrough to the life and death realm lasted for a full 24 hours. Finally, after a wave of powerful soul power ripples spread out, Tang Ao's soul power broke through to the life and death realm. and after Tang Ao's soul power broke through, Tang Ao was astonished to discover that the suppression of soul power in the underground snowfield actually didn't exist. The suppression of a martial artist's soul power in the snowfield actually didn't exist, and because his soul power had been suppressed by the ice and snow, now that this suppression disappeared, Tang Ao's soul power actually became a lot more condensed than before. Although Tang Ao's soul power was only at the first level of life and death realm, in terms of condensed soul power, Tang Ao's soul power might not be too far off from some third-level life and death realm martial artists. After this discovery, Tang Ao's heart was filled with curiosity. Could it be that this strange snowfield was to strengthen the soul power of martial artists? Tang Ao could not help but think about how the Spirit Pagoda had strengthened the cultivators. Under normal circumstances, a martial artist's cultivation and soul power would grow at the same pace. However, cultivation could be slowly worn in, while soul power could not be strengthened by too many methods. However, this strange snowfield actually had the ability to refine one's soul power. Did Shenong Emperor purposely help the later warriors to improve their cultivation? The more Tang Ao thought about it, the more he felt that it was possible. However, Tang Ao did not understand why the Shenong Emperor would set up such a place to help martial artists improve their strength. Regarding this situation, Tang Ao could only think of a not-so-good possibility. That was, after passing the trial in the snowfield, the Shenong Emperor had to choose a suitable warrior to possess. Astral-reaching realm warriors could already do this easily. And for an existence like the Shenong Emperor who had surpassed the astral-reaching realm, if the Shenong Emperor wanted to possess him, even Tang Ao would not be able to escape. Thinking of this, Tang Ao could not help but be vigilant. Now, Tang Ao had the hidden jade body in stone, the primordial sacred heavenly bow, the heavenly polar eyes, and many other rare treasures. He had also cultivated the ancient god sky moving art and the seven slaughter divine Tao, awakening a lot of rare life spirit. It could be said that among all the warriors in the snowfield, although Tang Ao was not the strongest, he was the best candidate for possession. Chapter 625. Tang Ao himself was a 9th-level astral-reaching realm warrior in his previous life. As for what kind of power a 9th-level astral-reaching realm warrior had, Tang Ao was well aware of it. Even if it was a dead astral-reaching realm warrior, as long as his soul did not dissipate, dealing with a Sea of Souls realm warrior would be as easy as killing an ant. Not to mention that this Shenong Emperor might be in existence that had surpassed the astral-reaching realm. Therefore, if the Shenong Emperor really wanted to make a move on Tang Ao, then even if Tang Ao had more tricks up his sleeves, he would not be able to escape. However, Tang Ao would also be waiting for death. If the Shenong Emperor really wanted to make a move on Tang Ao, although Tang Ao would not be able to escape, he would be able to use a secret art to detonate the 6th light mirror and perish together with the Shenong Emperor. Moreover, Tang Ao was only a Sea of Souls realm warrior, and had not crossed the life and death realm yet. Therefore, after Tang Ao died, he would be able to reincarnate and cultivate again. And with the current state of the Shenong Emperor, if he died again, then his soul would be completely destroyed. Facing such an existence, Tang Ao felt that dying together with him would be an honor. After all, Tang Ao was only a Sea of Souls realm warrior. Although the martial arts in the Black-Yellow continent had declined, Sea of Souls realm warriors were already considered experts. However, Tang Ao was a peak level 9 astral-reaching realm warrior in his previous life, so his vision would naturally not stop there. Moreover, all of this was just Tang Ao's guess. The real intention of the Shenong Emperor was still unknown to Tang Ao. Tang Ao only hoped that he was overthinking it, and that the Shenong Emperor had set up these 3 challenges only to increase the strength of the warriors, and to give some favors to the younger generation. It was not for the sake of selecting a suitable martial artist to carry out possession. While Tang Ao was thinking, Xia Qianyu had also woken up. When Xia Qinyu woke up, she saw that she was covered in a fox fur coat, and Tang Ao was sitting cross-legged beside her. Right now, Xia Qinyu only felt a little dizzy, and the meridians in her body seemed to be much smoother than before. Other than that, Xia Qinyu did not know anything else. Senior brother Tang Ao, have you refined the 300th layer of the primordial sacred sky Bao's star restriction? Xia Qinyu suddenly recalled that before she fell asleep, Tang Ao said that he wanted to refine the 300th layer of the primordial sacred heavenly Bao's star restriction. She wondered if he had refined it yet. Not yet, but my soul power has increased quite a bit, so I'll definitely be able to successfully refine it now. After I refine the 300th layer of the primordial sacred heavenly Bao's star restriction, we'll head to the snowfield to hunt the snow monsters. Xia Qinyu nodded, then sat cross-legged and began to regulate her breathing. After Xia Qinyu circulated her cultivation technique, she immediately discovered that her meridians were much smoother and more resilient than before. Due to her previous state of mind, Xia Qinyu did not know what had happened to her body. After sensing the changes in her body, Xia Qinyu immediately wanted to share the joy with Tang Ao. However, after seeing that Tang Ao was focused on refining the primordial sacred heavenly Bao's star restriction, Xia Qinyu did not disturb Tang Ao. At this moment, Tang Ao's entire mind was immersed in the primordial sacred heavenly Bao. The galaxy within the primordial sacred heavenly Bao was still dazzling, and the 299 star restrictions that Tang Ao had refined were even more dazzling. Tang Ao's vast soul power finally locked onto a dim star. This was the 300th layer of the primordial sacred heavenly Bao's star restriction, which was also Tang Ao's goal this time. After refining the 300th layer of the star restriction, the primordial sacred heavenly Bao would undergo some changes. Tang Ao was very much looking forward to the changes of the primordial sacred heavenly Bao. Chapter 6:26. The frost blood snake had returned from somewhere in the underground snow cave. However, it was in a good mood because it had just devoured 2 snow monsters in the underground snow cave not long ago. The spirit herbs in the snow monsters' stomachs were naturally wasted by it. After the frost blood snake returned, it immediately used its soul power to ask Tang Ao when to go to the snowfield. Although the frost blood snake's intelligence was very low, it knew that there were more snow monsters above the snowfield than there were in the snow underground. If Tang Ao hadn't successfully refined the 300th star restriction, Tang Ao would definitely have roasted the frost blood snake. When the frost blood snake had sent the soul power transmission to Tang Ao was at the final stage of refining the 300th star restriction. Fortunately, Tang Ao's soul power was abundant this time, and he successfully refined the primordial sacred heavenly Bao's 300th layer of star restriction. After refining the 300th star restriction, Tang Ao indeed obtained some information from the primordial sacred sky Bao. Tang Ao opened his eyes and stood up with the primordial sacred sky Bao in hand. Then, Tang Ao nocked an arrow and secretly gathered power. After injecting 10% of his spirit power into the primordial sacred sky Bao, Tang Ao loosened his grip. In an instant, a rain of arrows shot toward Tang Ao. This rain of arrows was made up of thousands of mysterious sky arrows, and it was very powerful. Most importantly, the range of the rain of arrows was extremely wide. Under such a range, even Murong Xiao and the others would not be able to dodge it with their speed and movement skills. Coincidentally, after Tang Ao shot this rain of arrows, because the range was too wide, a snow monster that came out of nowhere crashed into Tang Ao's rain of arrows. This time, Tang Ao did not use his full strength, so he did not kill this Sea of Souls Realm Level 6 snow monster. After the snow monster was shot by Tang Ao, it immediately roared and ran towards Tang Ao. However, after being shot by Tang Ao's arrows, the snow monster's movements became abnormally slow. With Tang Ao's skypole eyes, Tang Ao also saw that after the snow monster was shot by the mysterious heaven arrows, there was actually an additional binding spirit array in its body. It was also because of this binding formation that the snow monster's movements became unusually slow. Although the primordial sacred heaven bow was powerful, it definitely didn't have such an effect. It could be said that the primordial sacred sky bow that had refined the 300th layer of star restriction was not on the same level as the primordial sacred sky bow that had not refined the 300th layer of star restriction. Subsequently, Tang Ao learned from the primordial sacred sky bow that the mystic skill was called Arrow Storm. Jianlan. Not bad, not bad. A good name. After learning the name of the secret technique, Tang Ao praised it. While Tang Ao was praising it, the binding formation in the snow monster's body also disappeared. After the binding formation disappeared, the snow monster immediately revealed its ferocity and charged towards Tang Ao. Tang Ao snorted coldly and pulled the bow again. This time, Tang Ao also used 10% of his spiritual power. However, this time, the primordial sacred sky bow only shot out one mysterious heaven arrow. Purring! With an explosive sound, the snow monster was shot by Tang Ao into a sky full of blood mist. It died without leaving any remains. After the snow monster was killed by Tang Ao, a pure white ball of light appeared. Seeing the ball of light, the frost blood snake rushed over excitedly. After the frost blood snake broke the ball of light with its ice breath, a book fell from the ball of light. Chapter 6:27. After his soul power broke through to the life and death realm, the ice and snow in this space had completely lost its effect on Tang Ao's soul power. Originally, when Tang Ao was in the ice and snow underground, his soul power could only detect a radius of 300 meters around him. But now, Tang Ao's soul power could clearly detect everything within 300 meters. With such a powerful soul power, even if Tang Ao wasn't Murong Zhao's opponent, he could still evade before Murong Zhao could find him. After his soul power was no longer restricted, Tang Ao suddenly understood one thing. In this snowfield, the more powerful one's soul power was, the more advantage one would have. As long as one's soul power was powerful enough, one could evade the incoming danger in advance and discover the treasure as soon as it appeared. This snowfield was extremely vast. Even though Tang Ao had divided the entire snowfield into 4 parts, north, south, east, and west, and his soul power had broken through to the life and death realm, Tang Ao's soul power could only cover half of an area. If Tang Ao could only reach this level with his powerful soul power, one could imagine the situation of other martial artists in the snowfield. Although Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu were still in the ice and snow underground, Tang Ao's soul power perception could clearly sense the situation of the surroundings and the surface. Just as Tang Ao had expected, there were still many snow monsters on the surface. Moreover, these snow monsters weren't weak. Most of them were at the 6th level of the Sea of Souls realm, or even higher. Under Tang Ao's soul power perception, there were at least 200 snow monsters in this area. And in Tang Ao's perception, there were only 60 to 70 martial artists in this area. As time passed, more and more martial artists who had passed the 1st and 2nd stage would come to this snowfield. Therefore, there should be more and more martial artists in the snowfield. In the underworld Emperor Mountain Range, almost all the martial artists knew about the inheritance left behind by the astral-reaching realm martial artists in the Shenong ruins. Therefore, almost all of them wanted a piece of the pie. If Tang Ao's guess was right, all the martial artists in the underworld Emperor Mountain Range should have arrived at the Shenong ruins. There were close to 2,000 martial artists in the underworld Emperor Mountain Range. Even if some of them had perished along the way, there should still be many martial artists here. Now, there were only 60 to 70 warriors in the area where Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu were, which meant that the number of warriors here was the least among all the regions in the snowfield. With fewer martial artists, the competition would naturally be much smaller. For Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu, this was good news. Senior brother Tang Ao, are we going up now? Xia Qinyu sensed that Tang Ao's vast soul power was sweeping in all directions like a tidal wave, and she knew that Tang Ao was investigating the surroundings. We can go up now, but the snowfield is a bit strange. The entire snowfield is divided into 4 regions: north, south, east, and west. Right now, we are in the east region. My soul power can cover half of the east region, but under my soul power perception, I can only sense 60 to 70 martial artists. Although it's a good thing that there are fewer martial artists and less competition, it's still a bit strange. I just don't know what's wrong. Tang Ao said as he thought to himself. Then why don't we not go up? Xia Qinyu said after hearing Tang Ao say that there was something strange about the snowfield. Chapter 6:28. After Tang Ao explained everything to Xia Qinyu, he brought Xia Qinyu and the frigid blood snake out of the ice and snow underground, arriving above the snowfield. The frigid blood snake had just jumped out of the ice and snow when it let out an excited cry. However, not long after the frigid blood snake cried out, a bloody mouth was about to land on its transparent, ice-like body. This snow monster was at the 8th level of the Sea of Souls realm, and its mouth was filled with terrifying steel teeth. With one bite, the frigid blood snake let out a cry of pain. Then, the frigid blood snake suddenly turned its head and froze the snow monster with an ice breath. Then, it immediately broke free from the snow monster's restraints and came to Tang Ao's side. Tang Ao had chosen to come out from this place, naturally because he had discovered this 8th level Sea of Souls realm snow monster. Tang Ao's goal was to kill this 8th level Sea of Souls realm snow monster. However, what Tang Ao didn't expect was that before he and the others could attack it, this snow monster had already gone for the frigid blood snake. After the frigid blood snake had been bitten by the snow monster, a crack had appeared on its ice-like body. However, as the frigid blood snake's spirit power circulated, the crack quickly recovered. Tang Ao knew how strong the frigid blood snake's body was. Without using the primordial sacred sky bow, Tang Ao wouldn't be able to break through the frigid blood snake's defense. Just now, the snow monster had only casually bitten the frost blood snake. From this, it could be seen how powerful the snow monster's bite was. After Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu appeared on the snowfield, and the frigid blood snake let out another cry, the other warriors on the snowfield were naturally attracted over as well. At this moment, the snow monster was still sealed by the frigid blood snake's ice breath, so no one knew what kind of snow monster it was. Yu Bin and the other 4 were the closest to Tang Ao, so they were the first to come over. After looking at Tang Ao, Yu Bin realized that he couldn't see through Tang Ao's cultivation, so he looked at Xia Qinyu, who was next to Tang Ao. At this moment, Xia Qinyu was hiding behind Tang Ao like a little bird. Yu Bin's eyes lit up when he saw Xia Qinyu's beautiful face. Moreover, Yu Bin could see that Xia Qinyu was only at the 5th level of the Sea of Souls realm, while he was at the 7th level of the Sea of Souls realm. Next, Yu Bin looked at the frost blood snake. When he saw the frost blood snake, Yu Bin was stunned. The mark on the frost blood snake's forehead proved that it had formed a spirit-beast contract with a human cultivator. However, in Yu Bin's opinion, Tang Ao's and Li Wuyo's cultivations were not high. Then, Yu Bin saw the frigid blood snake. When he saw it, he was stunned. This was because the mark on its forehead proved that it had signed a spirit-beast contract with a human warrior. However, in Yu Bin's opinion, Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu's cultivation was not high, so they shouldn't have the ability to do so. After Tang Ao refined the 300th layer of the primordial sacred sky bow, he didn't even care about Morong Xiao and Tang Ao, so a small character like Yu Bin wouldn't know that Tang Ao was paying attention to him. Therefore, when Yu Bin came over, Tang Ao didn't pay attention to him. He just used the sky polar eyes to strengthen the ice around the snow monster. Junior brother, I am Yu Bin from the Wanhua sect. I see that both of you don't have high cultivation. Although this frigid blood snake is strong, it is just an immoral beast. Junior brother and junior sister, why don't you come with us? This snow field is dangerous, and the two of you are in too much danger. Although Yu Bin was talking to Tang Ao, he was staring at Xia Qianyu like a hungry tiger. Chapter 6:29. Therefore, Tang Ao said indifferently, "My junior sister and I are very safe. There is no need for you to worry." As he spoke, Tang Ao held Xia Qianyu's hand and faintly smiled at her, indicating that she would be fine. Tang Ao could tell that Yu Bin was a medicine jar, but Xia Qianyu could not, since she was only at the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. After seeing the aftermath of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing and the 4/6 level Sea of Souls realm warriors behind them, she was indeed a bit nervous. Facing a medicine jar like Yu Bin, Tang Ao would not have paid any attention to him even before. Not to mention that Tang Ao had already refined the 300th layer of the primordial sacred sky bow. Yu Bin's power was really not enough in front of Tang Ao. Moreover, in Tang Ao's opinion, now that Xia Qianyu had mastered the extreme clear mysterious mirror, a small character like Yu Bin would not be her opponent at all. Safe? I don't think so. After Tang Ao finished speaking, Yu Bin did not say anything. Instead, a somewhat feminine-looking man stood out from behind Yu Bin. This person seemed to have some ability. Therefore, after he stood out, the others all looked at Tang Ao with mocking eyes. Moreover, after Qian Yong stood out, they even started to discuss in low voices. Senior brother Qian Yong's soul stab secret art had just been trained to minor completion not long ago. Although he is only at the 6th level of Sea of Souls realm, even an 8th level Sea of Souls realm warrior would be wounded by his soul stab if they were not careful. Yeah, this kid is really unlucky. He actually dared to speak so arrogantly in front of senior brother Qian Yong. There will be a good show to watch. Indeed, there will be a good show. Senior brother Qian Yong and Yu Bin both seem to have some thoughts about that little girl. Although senior brother Yu Bin looks like a medicine jar, his medicine jar is powerful. Can senior brother Qian Yong be a match for senior brother Yu Bin? Don't think that senior brother Yu Bin is only at the 6th layer of the Spirit Sea realm. Back in the Spirit Transformation Tower, even Murong family's Murong Shao suffered a great loss at his hands. If he didn't have a few tricks up his sleeve, how would he dare to oppose senior brother Yu Bin? While everyone was talking, Qian Yong walked up to Tang Ao. Tang Ao heard what Qian Yong said just now, but Tang Ao was too lazy to answer. Qian Yong originally wanted to teach Tang Ao a lesson in front of Xia Qianyu. Now that Tang Ao was acting so arrogantly, Qian Yong would not hold back. Junior brother, you should know that there is always someone better than you out there. Don't think that just because you have a contract with a beast from the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, you are so great. Qian Yong looked at Tang Ao and said with a cold voice. Facing Qian Yong's provocation, Tang Ao naturally did not back down. According to what you said, you are an outsider? I think you are more or less the same as my frost blood snake. Just now, Qian Yong had been emphasizing that the frost blood snake was a beast. Therefore, when Tang Ao said that Qian Yong was more or less the same as the frost blood snake, he was naturally calling Qian Yong a beast. Although Qian Yong was arrogant, he was definitely not stupid. Therefore, he immediately understood the meaning behind Tang Ao's words. Therefore, Qian Yong immediately said angrily, "You are looking for death." After saying that, his body's boundless soul power rushed toward Tang Ao. He was only at the 6th layer of the Spirit Sea realm, but his soul power was already comparable to an 8th layer martial artist. Chapter 6:30. Tang Ao naturally did not know what Qian Yong was thinking, nor did he know that Qian Yong was overestimating him. Therefore, Qian Yong was sure that Tang Ao was most likely a 6th level Sea of Souls realm martial artist, so he did not take him seriously. However, Qian Yong did not know that Tang Ao was only a martial artist from the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. Even the 5th floor of Linghai Jing was only broken through not long ago. After Tang Ao, Qian Yong, and Yu Bin's quarrel, the other martial artists in the surroundings also walked over. After seeing Yu Bin and the others, these martial artists immediately stopped in their track. Among the 69 martial artists here, Yu Bin and the other 4 were the overlords of this area. Among the crowd of onlookers, there were no less than 10 martial artists who had been defeated by Qian Yong. Therefore, when the crowd saw Qian Yong attack Tang Ao, they immediately started to sympathize with Tang Ao. In this strange snow field, the perception of soul power was especially important. Qian Yong's soul stab was specialized in restraining the martial artist's soul power. Among the crowd, there was a martial artist from the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. At this moment, this person looked at Qian Yong with his teeth clenched, but there was a helpless expression on his face. Not long ago, this person had a quarrel with Qian Yong, and when he was about to force Qian Yong into a disadvantageous position, Qian Yong suddenly used the soul stab to sneak attack him. After being injured by Qian Yong's soul stab, his soul power was like a broken bag, constantly dissipating. Until now, his soul power was still dissipating, and there was no way to heal it. Among the crowd, there were a few people in the same situation as him. It was also because of this that Qian Yong was infamous among these martial artists. Therefore, now that Tang Ao had offended Qian Yong, it meant that Tang Ao was also going to be out of luck. Among the crowd, there were those who sympathized with Tang Ao, and naturally, there were those who were gloating. Moreover, there were few who sympathized, and many who were gloating. They all say that women are the source of trouble, see? This kid doesn't have much ability, but he has such a beautiful junior sister following behind him. This time, he's in trouble. You can't say that. If I had such a beautiful junior sister to spend time with, I would be willing to die. This senior brother is really a romantic even if he dies under a peony flower. I think this kid is also going to become a romantic ghost. Yes, senior brother Yu Bin's words were very clear just now. As long as this kid sends junior sister out, with senior brother Yu Bin's reputation, he should be able to ensure his safety in this snowfield. It's too late for him to regret now. Although senior brother Yu Bin is the leader of the group of 5, senior brother Qian Yong is not someone to be trifled with. From the looks of it, senior brother Qian Yong wants to kill that kid. While everyone was discussing, Qian Yong also used the soul stinger secret technique. In an instant, 9 soul stingers shot towards Tang Ao. As long as one of these soul thorns was struck, a martial artist's soul power would continuously dissipate. As long as more than 3 of them were struck, a martial artist's soul power would instantly dissipate, and he would die. This time, Qian Yong wanted to kill, so he wanted to get rid of Tang Ao in one move. After feeling Qian Yong's weak soul power, Tang Ao looked at Qian Yong with some astonishment. Although the few people behind Qian Yong were talking very softly, Tang Ao's soul power had been enveloping the surroundings, so naturally, Tang Ao knew what they were talking about. Just now, when Tang Ao heard a few people say that Qian Yong's soul power was not ordinary, and that his soul stinger secret technique was extremely powerful, Tang Ao thought that he had misjudged, so he secretly became vigilant. Chapter 631. Therefore, Qian Yong's soul power, which he thought was powerful, was really very weak in Tang Ao's eyes. While Tang Ao was pondering, Qian Yong's so-called soul stab secret technique also bombarded Tang Ao's soul power. When Qian Yong's soul stab secret technique bombarded Tang Ao's soul power, Qian Yong's expression immediately changed. In the past, when he used the soul stab secret technique to attack martial artists, it was like a sharp knife piercing into flesh. But this time, Qian Yong's use of the soul stab secret technique to attack Tang Ao was like an egg hitting a stone. Thinking of this, Qian Yong looked at Tang Ao in disbelief. Before, Qian Yong could not see through Tang Ao's cultivation, but now, he could tell that Tang Ao was only at the first level of the Sea of Souls realm. After seeing Tang Ao's strength, Qian Yong did not dare to speak. This was because Qian Yong knew that those who could use their soul power to resist his soul thorns were at least martial artists of the 9th floor of Linghai Jing. Qian Yong was sure that his soul stab secret technique didn't make any mistakes just now, and Tang Ao didn't take any precautions either. He completely relied on his own soul power to take on his soul stab secret technique. There were countless methods to cultivate spiritual power in the Black-Yellow continent. But regarding the cultivation of soul power, even a top-notch sect like the profound Yellow 8 Great Sects might not have any method. As a result, a martial artist's soul power could only increase along with their cultivation. Therefore, in the Black-Yellow continent, there were many martial artists whose cultivation base was stronger than their soul power. However, those whose soul power was stronger than their cultivation base were 1 in a billion. The reason why Qian Yong was so arrogant in the snowfield was because his soul power was far stronger than his cultivation. Furthermore, he had a fortuitous encounter in the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm and learned the soul stab secret art. Thus, during this period of time, he had already killed many martial artists. After consecutively defeating a few warriors from the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, Qian Yong became even more arrogant. But now, Qian Yong knew that he had kicked an iron plate this time. Everyone was still waiting to see Tang Ao's show, but for some reason, Tang Ao had been standing there calmly. On the other hand, Qian Yong's expression kept changing. At this moment, Qian Yong felt that Tang Ao was either like him, a martial artist whose soul power far surpassed his cultivation, or he was a true martial artist from the 9th floor of Linghai Jing. If it was the former, Qian Yong wouldn't be afraid of Tang Ao because he had more people on his side. But if it was the latter, Qian Yong's group of 5 was not even enough to fill the gaps between Tang Ao's teeth. Therefore, Qian Yong was now caught in a dilemma and didn't know what to do. It was also at this moment that a series of cracking sounds rang out, attracting everyone's attention. Then, with a bang, the snow monster that had been frozen by Tang Ao and the frost blood snake broke out of the ice. Yubin had thought that this snow monster that had been frozen by Tang Ao was only a 5th or 6th level Sea of Souls realm weak little snow monster. But now, after feeling the powerful aura of this snow monster, Yubin subconsciously took 3 steps back. What a joke, this was a peak level 8 Sea of Souls realm snow monster. Although Yubin had some skills, it was obviously not enough to fill the gaps between this snow monster's teeth. When everyone saw that the snow monster that had broken out of the ice was a peak level 8 Sea of Souls realm snow monster, they were all shocked. Although there were a lot of snow monsters in this area, most of them were only at the 5th or 6th level Sea of Souls realm, even those from the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. As for this kind of peak level 8 Sea of Souls realm snow monster, although a lot of people had seen it before, once they saw this kind of snow monster, no one would dare to provoke it. Chapter 632. Seeing Qian Yong suddenly kneeling down, Tang Ao was shocked as well. Although Qian Yong's so-called soul stab secret art was not worth mentioning in front of Tang Ao was sure that it still had its merit. Especially since Tang Ao's soul power had already reached the life and death realm. Once Tang Ao mastered this method of using soul power to attack his enemies, then it would be really hard for Tang Ao to find an opponent in this snow field. After that peak level 8 Sea of Souls realm snow monster broke through the ice layer, it looked at Tang Ao angrily before running away. Compared to the others, this snow monster already had its own intelligence. Seeing that there were so many people around, it was worried that they would surround and kill it together, so it ran away immediately. After the snow monster ran away, everyone came back to their senses. That snow monster was at the 8th level of Sea of Souls realm, right? A peak level 8 Sea of Souls realm snow monster. That snow monster was controlled by this senior brother. Isn't that obvious? Besides this senior brother, who else would have the ability to do that? Then, this senior brother might be a powerful warrior from the 9th floor of Linghaijing. It is not possible. Didn't you see senior brother Qian Yong kneeling down for him? This senior brother must be a warrior from the 9th floor of Linghaijing. At first, Tang Ao did not understand why Qian Yong would kneel down for him. But now, Tang Ao had figured it out as well. Right then, Tang Ao's expression turned serious as he said to Qian Yong, "Don't be nervous. Although I am powerful, I will not kill." Tang Ao's calm expression and indifferent voice made everyone believe that Tang Ao was a warrior from the 9th floor of Linghaijing even more. The three behind Yubin also whispered, "This guy must be the last disciple of that big martial school. I wonder what kind of trick he used to hide his cultivation to trick us." Shu, lower your voice. These big martial school's disciples like to play the pig to eat the tiger. This time, senior brother Yu Bin and senior brother Qian Yong are in big trouble. No wonder this brat was so calm. He was purposely trying to anger senior brother Yu Bin and senior brother Qian Yong. Luckily, senior brother Yu Bin was quite sly and did not fall for it. However, senior brother Qian Yong couldn't hold back and attacked this senior brother first. Now senior brother Qian Yong is out of luck. Qian Yong was very nervous at this moment. Just now, Tang Ao was able to receive his soul stab secret technique without any preparation. This meant that Tang Ao was extremely confident, and confidence came from strength. Just now, Qian Yong was worried that Tang Ao would kill him out. Yong was worried that Tang Ao would kill him. Yong long as Tang Ao was Yu Yong Qian just said. Yong Qian just I said Tang Ao Tian as but now, Tang Ao did not seem to be angry. Even so, it made Qian Yong even more nervous. Senior brother, junior brother had eyes but failed to see. If senior brother can spare me, I'll agree to any conditions you have. Qian Yong thought that Tang Ao's soul power was so strong. He would definitely be interested in his soul stab secret technique. Thinking of this, Qian Yong hurriedly took out the soul stab secret technique jade slip from his storage ring and handed it to Tang Ao. "Senior brother, this is the jade slip of the secret technique that I used just now. Consider it my apology to you." Tang Ao was still thinking about how to get Qian Yong's soul stab secret technique. He did not expect Qian Yong to be so tactful. Before Tang Ao said anything, Qian Yong gave the soul stab secret technique jade slip to Tang Ao. Chapter 633. Although Tang Ao had gained something without risking anything, Qian Yong now thought that Tang Ao was a martial artist from the 9th floor of Linghaijing. In the Netherworld Emperor's secret realm, the promise of a martial artist from the 9th floor of Linghaijing was obviously extremely valuable. Moreover, in Qian Yong's opinion, although there weren't many 8th level Sea of Souls realm snow monsters in this snowfield, there were still some. Moreover, he had established a friendship with Tang Ao now. If he encountered any danger in the future, Tang Ao might even be able to help him. Tang Ao didn't know what Qian Yong was thinking. Even if Tang Ao knew, Tang Ao wouldn't care. Right now, Tang Ao was more interested in the soul stab secret technique jade slip in his hand. After the incident with Yu Bin and Qian Yong, Tang Ao and Xia Qianyu continued to search for snow monsters in the snowfield. Although there were many snow monsters in the snowfield was too vast. Although Tang Ao's soul power could detect many snow monsters, they clearly couldn't attract Tang Ao's interest. Tang Ao waved his hand, and the 7 green lotus swords instantly turned into 7 streams of light that attacked a snow monster from the 5th floor of Linghaijing. Although this snow monster was only from the 5th floor of Linghaijing, it had been hiding in the snow underground. Just now, two martial artists passed by the snow and were caught off guard. They were bitten to death by this snow monster. Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu happened to see this scene when they passed by. Although Tang Ao wasn't interested in the snow monsters of the 5th floor of Linghaijing, it would be a waste not to take a treasure that was delivered to his doorstep. And this snow monster, which was at the same level as Tang Ao, was indeed not a match for Tang Ao. With Tang Ao's 7 slaughter divine Dao, this snow monster was killed in an instant by Tang Ao. After Tang Ao killed the snow monster, the frost blood snake immediately rushed forward to feast. The ball of light in the belly of this snow monster was indeed nothing good. It was another useless spirit herb, so Tang Ao naturally threw it to the frost blood snake. It was just right for it to have a balanced diet of meat and vegetables. On one side there was the meat of a high-grade demon beast, and on the other side there was a spirit grass of a high grade. Even the guardian spirit beasts of some sects couldn't enjoy such treatment. Senior brother Tang Ao, isn't this too wasteful? Xia Qinyu had killed quite a number of snow monsters with Tang Ao over the past few days. Most of the treasures in the bellies of these snow monsters were spiritual herbs. Aside from the ones that Xia Qinyu wanted, Tang Ao had given the rest to the frost blood snake. Junior sister Xia, you're wrong. This frost blood snake has been eating meat for the past few days. In order to prevent it from having an uneven diet, it's better to have it have a balanced diet of meat and vegetables. Tang Ao really didn't mind giving these spiritual herbs to the frost blood snake. Although there were quite a few precious spiritual herbs, they were of no use to Tang Ao. In this case, it would be better to give them to the frost blood snake instead of carrying them around with him. After eating so many spiritual herbs and snow monsters, the frost blood snake didn't eat them for nothing. The frost blood snake's cultivation, which had stagnated for 1,000 years, also started to grow. Right now, the frost blood snake's cultivation had grown from the initial stage of the 7th floor of Linghaijing to the peak stage of the 7th floor of Linghaijing. According to Tang Ao's calculations, the frost blood snake only needed to eat 2 or 3 more spiritual herbs and 2 or 3 more snow monsters to break through to the 8th level of the Sea of Souls realm. Tang Ao now had the primordial sacred heaven Bao and the frost blood snake as a helper. In the underworld Emperor's secret realm, he could practically do whatever he wanted. This snow plain was too wide. Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu had been here for 5 days, but they still hadn't met Morong Xiao and the others. Chapter 634. Hence, Tang Ao still did not wish to encounter Morong Xiao and the others now. If he encountered them, he would at most beat them up to vent his anger. It would be somewhat unrealistic to want to snatch the treasures from them. Of course, if Morong Xiao and the others insisted on courting death, Tang Ao would not be lenient. Now that Tang Ao had refined the primordial sacred heaven Bao's 300th layer of star restriction, Morong Xiao and the others probably could not even take one move from Tang Ao. Senior brother Tang Ao, where are we going now? At first, Xia Qinyu thought that Tang Ao was just bringing her to wander aimlessly on the snowfield, but now she realized that Tang Ao seemed to be looking for something. I've been in this snowfield for almost half a month. According to the stone tablet in front of the Shinong ruins, this should be the 3rd level of the Shinong ruins. As long as I pass this level, I can obtain the inheritance of the Shinong Emperor. It's just that after such a long time, I haven't discovered how to pass this level. After pausing for a moment, Tang Ao continued, but after my soul power broke through, I discovered that this huge snowfield seems to be a huge array formation. It's just that the method of setting up this array formation is too exquisite. I still can't see the clues of this array formation until now. Then, senior brother Tang Ao, will we be trapped here forever? Xia Qinyu was still worried about whether she could survive in the snowfield previously. Now that she could gradually master the Tai Ching mysterious mirror and had Tang Ao to protect her, Xia Qinyu also wanted to go out. Tang Ao really did not know how to answer Xia Qianyu's question. After thinking for a moment, Tang Ao said, "We can definitely get out. It's just a matter of time." The reason why the Shennong Emperor set up the 3 levels of inheritance is mostly to select the person to accept the inheritance. If he trapped all the martial artists who participated in the trial to death, then wouldn't his legacy be broken? As Tang Ao and Xia Qianyu were talking, Tang Ao sensed several cultivators chasing after a snow monster. It was a 6th level Sea of Souls realm snow monster, and the ones chasing it were 3 young men in black. The 3 of them were all at the 6th level of the Sea of Souls realm, and they seemed to have mastered a combined attack martial skill. Therefore, when they were dealing with this 6th level Sea of Souls realm snow monster, it was getting easier and easier. For some reason, the snow monster was running in the direction of Tang Ao, so it did not take long for the snow monster to see Tang Ao and his companion. When the snow monster saw Tang Ao and Tang Ao, it roared and pounced at Tang Ao. The intelligence of these snow monsters seemed to be even lower than that of the frost blood snake. At this moment it was being chased by 3 warriors, but after seeing Tang Ao, it actually wanted to eat Tang Ao, completely forgetting that it was being chased. When the 3 warriors in black saw that Tang Ao was being attacked by the snow monster, they did not have any intention of helping. Instead, they stood on the side, looking like they were watching a good show. The 3 of them would definitely kill this snow monster in a while. However, before that, the 3 of them wanted to watch Tang Ao fight the snow monster. It would be very interesting for them to watch Tang Ao fight it. Under their soul power detection, Tang Ao was only a 3rd level Sea of Souls realm martial artist. This kind of weak martial artist was like an ant in the eyes of the 3. And this snow monster was at the 6th level of the Sea of Souls realm. If Tang Ao was really at the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm, he would not be able to beat this snow monster even if he risked his life. Chapter 635. After Tang Ao's soul power reached the level of a life and death realm warrior, he could clearly see the treasure in the snow monster's stomach through the light. However, Tang Ao was not proficient in using his life and death realm soul power yet, so Tang Ao could not see the treasure in the snow monster's stomach clearly. But this time, Tang Ao could see it clearly. Inside the snow monster's stomach was a martial art called the Extreme Een Meridian Tempering Spell. Tang Ao had never trained this spell before, but Tang Ao had seen it in an auction in his previous life. However, Tang Ao was also very interested in this martial art, but Tang Ao's strength was not that high at that time, so he could not compete for this spell. Thinking of this, Tang Ao couldn't help but feel a little emotional. In his previous life, he couldn't even afford something that he couldn't afford, but in this life, he actually got it so easily. Tang Ao could not help but sigh at the unpredictable nature of the world. Lu Qing and the other 2 originally wanted to watch Tang Ao's show, but when Xia Qianyu stood beside Tang Ao, they all frowned. Tang Ao had the hidden jade body, so the 3 could not see through Tang Ao's real strength. However, Xia Qianyu did not have any methods to hide her strength, so the 3 could naturally see that she was a warrior from the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. "You guys, what do you think the chances of this brat winning with this cute little junior sister disciple? This brat is only at the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm, so he must be a guy who lives off a woman. This little junior sister disciple is not bad. That face, that figure, they are all not bad. Hee, since coming to the Underworld Emperor's secret realm, I have never tasted meat. I am already drooling. How about we kill this brat and take this little junior sister disciple to have some fun? He is only at the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm. There is no need for us to do anything. In my opinion, he would not even be able to take one attack from this snow monster." While the 3 of them were talking, the snow monster arrived in front of Tang Ao. A golden light flashed on Tang Ao's body as the battle sage Bone Life Soul instantly appeared. Then, Tang Ao raised his right fist and punched the snow monster. The snow monster had no intention of dodging Tang Ao's attack. At this moment, Tang Ao's aura was completely restrained, so the snow monster couldn't sense any danger from Tang Ao's body. However, the snow monster soon realized its mistake. Tang Ao's ordinary punch had actually sent it flying. After it landed, it even rolled a few times on the ground, and the blood in its body surged. Lu Qing and the other two were also taken aback by Tang Ao's ability to send the snow monster flying with a single punch. However, after thinking about it for a moment, the three of them still felt that the reason why Tang Ao could send the snow monster flying with a single punch was because of the powerful life soul on him. As for Tang Ao, he did not have much strength himself. After the snow monster was sent flying by Tang Ao's punch, it immediately let out a strange cry and charged at Tang Ao. This time, the snow monster's hand flashed with spiritual power, and a sharp icicle appeared in its hand. Then, it stabbed at Tang Ao with the icicle. Facing the snow monster's attack, Tang Ao also punched out fearlessly. Under the cover of the battle sage bone life soul, Tang Ao shattered the snow monster's icicle with a single punch. The moment Tang Ao shattered the snow monster's icicle, the snow monster actually stepped over Tang Ao and charged at Xia Qianyu, who was behind Tang Ao. Xia Qianyu was frightened by the snow monster and hurriedly summoned the Tai Ching mystic mirror to block it. Chapter 636. Tang Ao was right. The Jade Scroll and the Ball of Light did indeed record the extreme Yin Meridian tempering technique. After Xia Qianyu used the extreme clear mystic mirror, her meridians burned again. Tang Ao also came to Xia Qianyu's side. Rays of light green light flew out of Tang Ao's body and merged into Xia Qianyu's body. As Tang Ao's jade bone life spirit entered, the burning pain in Xia Qianyu's meridians gradually improved. However, after the burning pain in Xia Qianyu's meridians improved, Xia Qianyu's eyes became a bit strange. "Senior brother Tang Ao, have you always treated me like this?" Xia Qianyu's voice was very soft. If it wasn't for Tang Ao standing beside her, he might not have heard it clearly. Tang Ao didn't know why Xia Qianyu would ask such a question. Immediately, Tang Ao said honestly, "Yes, but now that I have the extreme Yin Meridian tempering technique, I probably don't need to treat you anymore." Xia Qianyu didn't pay attention to what Tang Ao said. Instead, she said with a burning face, "Then didn't you see me from inside out?" Hearing Xia Qianyu's words, Tang Ao suddenly froze and didn't know what to say. Xia Qianyu saw Tang Ao's expression and giggled. "Don't worry, senior brother Tang Ao, I won't ask you to take responsibility." Seeing Xia Qianyu like this, how could Tang Ao not know that Xia Qianyu was joking with him? Immediately, Tang Ao said, "Junior sister Xia, don't worry. I will definitely take responsibility. I will take care of you from now on." While Tang Ao and Xia Qianyu were joking, Lu Qing and the other two finally recovered from the shock. "This third-level Sea of Souls realm brat killed the snow monster with one punch? This snow monster was discovered by us. We have to ask for compensation. But the three of us haven't been able to kill this snow monster after fighting for so long. Could it be that we are no match for this brat?" "Nonsense, we are definitely no match for this brat." While Lu Qing and the other two were talking, Tang Ao also left with Xia Qianyu. Their time in the snowfield was not long, but their harvest was not small. Tang Ao obtained the soul stab secret technique, while Xia Qianyu obtained the extreme Yin Meridian tempering technique. Therefore, Tang Ao decided to recuperate in the snow cave before coming back to hunt the snow monsters. Due to the fact that Tang Ao had left a soul imprint on her, and Tang Ao's soul power was extremely powerful, it didn't take long for Tang Ao and Xia Qianyu to arrive at the snow cave where the two of them had been hiding. Tang Ao had set up a defensive restriction in the snow cave. At this moment, there were no changes to the defensive restriction, which meant that no one had been here. Junior Sister Xia, cultivate this extreme Yin meridian tempering technique well. I'll take a look at this soul stinger secret technique. After 3 to 5 days, I'll take you to the snowfield to hunt the snow monsters. After arriving at the snow cave, Tang Ao relaxed and laid down on the fox fur coat. Although they did not run into any danger in the snowfield, they had fought 2 battles in a row. Tang Ao was indeed a bit tired. Xia Qianyu did not reject Tang Ao's suggestion. After nodding at Tang Ao, Xia Qianyu also sat down and started to cultivate the extreme Yin meridian tempering technique. The extreme Yin meridian tempering technique was a martial art that strengthened the warrior's meridians. After cultivating it, the meridians would become more resilient. When Xia Qianyu used the extreme clear mystic mirror, due to the heavy burden it placed on her meridians were often injured. However, with this extreme Yin meridian tempering technique, this situation would change. Chapter 637. Tang Ao didn't sleep for long. After 8 hours, Tang Ao woke up. When Tang Ao woke up, he discovered that Xia Qianyu had covered herself with a fox fur coat. Although she was still sitting cross-legged, she had fallen asleep. Day and night in the underworld Emperor's secret realm were unpredictable, but this snow plain was rather special. It was night time in the snow plain. Although Tang Ao was underground, Tang Ao could see everything clearly with his sky polar pupil. Whether it was a normal mountain range or this snow plain, the night was more dangerous than the day. After a martial artist's soul power was limited, observation with the naked eye was extremely important. But not all martial artists were like Tang Ao, who had the sky polar pupil. Therefore, most martial artists would be in more danger at night. Although it was easier to hunt snow monsters during the day, there were many warriors moving about during the day. Hence, the competition for hunting snow monsters was much greater. Moreover, once a weak martial artist found something good in the belly of a snow monster, he would be targeted by other martial artists. Therefore, many weaker martial artists banded together and hid in underground snow caves during the day. At night, they hunted snow monsters on the snowy plains. At this moment, Tang Ao saw no less than 30 martial artists hunting snow monsters on the snow plain. However, these martial artists were all very weak. Most of them were at the 4th or even the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm. If these people weren't like Tang Ao and directly skipped the 2nd stage of the Underworld Emperor's secret realm to the 3rd stage, their strength would really be too low. Because of their low strength, these martial artists were mostly in groups of 5 or 6. Tang Ao noticed that these martial artists' martial skills were messy. They were clearly disciples of small sections. Although the Underworld Emperor's secret realm was a trial that could change the fate of a martial artist or even a sect, it was still too cruel for these disciples of small sections. In a team of 6, because 2 warriors were careless and killed by the snow monster, the remaining 4 didn't even have the chance to escape, and 3 of them were killed by the snow monster. Just as the snow monster was about to reach the last person, a figure suddenly jumped out from the darkness and smashed the 5th floor of Linghai Jing to death. It was a youth in black holding the 9 Yin bone-shattering ruler. Tang Ao knew this youth. It was Yen Yen, whom Tang Ao had seen many times. However, the current Yen Yen seemed a lot weaker than before. In Tang Ao's opinion, Yen Yen was already at the 7th floor of Linghai Jing half a month ago, or even higher than the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. Half a month later, Yen Yen should have broken through to the 8th level of Sea of Souls realm. But from what Yen Yen had just now, he was only slightly stronger than the 6th level of Sea of Souls realm. So much so that Yen Yen had to use his full strength to deal with a mere 5th floor of Linghai Jing snow monster. Tang Ao didn't know what had happened to Yen Yen. Originally, Tang Ao wanted to show himself and help these people. But since Yen Yen was here, there was nothing for Tang Ao to do. As the saying went, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Although Yen Yen could only bring out the strength of the 6th level of Sea of Souls realm, it was not a problem for him to deal with these snow monsters. After Yen Yen killed the snow monster, the girl that he saved immediately came to his side. Big brother Yen, your wounds are not healed yet. Why are you not recovering in the snow cave? Why are you up here? By the time I'm healed, you guys will probably all be killed by the snow monsters. Chapter 638. Including this time, this was already the third time Tang Ao had seen Yen Yen in the snowfield. The first time he saw Yen Yen, Tang Ao thought he was a lunatic. But now, half a month later, no one knew what went wrong with this Yen Yen, but he actually started to do chivalrous things again. Yen Yen and the others weren't far from Tang Ao. Thus, Tang Ao arrived below Yen Yen and the others after walking through the ice and snow for a while. Because Tang Ao's soul power had already broken through to the strength of a life and death realm martial artist, Tang Ao's aura was completely restrained. Even Yen Yen didn't sense Tang Ao's arrival. After Tang Ao approached, Tang Ao clearly sensed a deathly aura from Yen Yen's body. This deathly aura was very familiar. After Tang Ao pondered for a moment, a name immediately popped up in his mind: Fong Hong Jian. Back then, when Murong Xiao left the group of martial artists behind and forcibly used the spirit treasure disc to inspect everyone's treasures, Fong Hong Jian had abducted Xia Qianyu at the last moment. Then, Tang Ao caught up to Fong Hong Jian and even had a great battle with him. Although Tang Ao and Xia Qianyu had luckily escaped that battle, Tang Ao remembered Fong Hong Jian's deathly aura very clearly. What was dispersing from Yen Yan's body now was definitely Fong Hong Jian's deathly aura. However, this deathly aura was dispersing from Yen Yan's wound. Clearly, Yen Yan and Fong Hong Jian had a dispute. As for the outcome of the dispute, Tang Ao had no idea. But from the looks of it now, Yen Yan seemed to have been injured by Fong Hong Jian. When Yi Xian and Fong Hong Jian had fought last time, Fong Hong Jian had only been at the 6th level of the Spirit Sea realm, while Yen Yan had already reached the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. Yet, Fong Hong Jian was able to injure Yen Yan. It seemed that this Fong Hong Jian wasn't easy to deal with. After Tang Ao approached, he heard the conversation between Yen Yan and the young girl. Although Yen Yan's voice was still cold, his words weren't as painful as before. Xiao Lan, you guys hide in the snow cave for now. When I recover, I'll kill as many snow monsters as you want. After Yen Yen said that, Xiao Lan rolled her eyes at him and said to him, Big brother Yen is bragging again. How can these snow monsters be so easy to kill? Senior brother Yen, your injuries haven't recovered yet. You should quickly go to the underground snow cave to rest. Tang Ao knew that Yen Yen was not boasting. With his peak power, besides a few 8th level Seas of Souls realm snow beasts, Yen Yen could really kill as many as he wanted in the snowfield. However, Yen Yan's current injuries were not light. Killing that 5th level Sea of Souls realm snow monster was a bit strenuous. Seeing that he couldn't persuade Sun Xiaolan, Yen Yen turned to Sun Xiaolan. How about this? Don't get too far away from me. If anything happens, I'll be able to help you in time. Sun Xiaolan hurriedly said, How can we do that? Big brother Yan's injuries haven't healed yet. If there's an intense battle, his wounds will split open again. Sun Xiaolan hurriedly said, How can we do that? Big brother Yan's injuries haven't healed yet. If we engage in an intense battle, his wounds will rupture again. They were all from small sects, while Xiao Lan was from a sect that studied medicine. Thus, along the way, no matter what kind of injuries they had, Xiao Lan had been the one to help them heal. Thus, they all came from small sects, while Xiao Lan came from a sect that specialized in the study of medicine. Thus, everyone trusted Xiao Lan's words. Chapter 639. Starting a fire in a snow cave was definitely a dangerous thing to do. The high temperature would melt the ice and snow. However, Tang Ao still started a fire in the snow cave. Naturally, there were cloud gong pig slices on top of the fire. Tang Ao's cooking skills were not very good. He could only roast the meat without burning it. This was considered good among most cultivators, but Tang Ao was not satisfied. Xia Qinyu was woken up by the aroma of the cloud gong pig slices. When she woke up, she found that she was covered tightly while Tang Ao started a fire to roast meat. Xia Qinyu remembered that she was supposed to be sitting cross-legged while cultivating, but now she was actually sleeping on the fox fur coat. Although she was sleeping very comfortably, wasn't it because Tang Ao had laid her flat to sleep? Thinking of this, Xia Qinyu felt her cheeks heat up. Although Tang Ao had not done anything excessive to her, Tang Ao's actions still made Xia Qinyu feel very embarrassed. "Junior sister Xia, you're awake? Come and have a drink with me." Seeing that Xia Qinyu had woken up, Tang Ao immediately smiled and said to her, "Oh, okay." Looking at the golden cloud gong pig slices that Tang Ao had roasted and the fragrant 100-flower wine in the wine cup, Xia Qinyu completely forgot about what had just happened. Xia Qinyu got up and sat opposite Tang Ao. After seeing the fire that Tang Ao had started, Xia Qinyu asked worriedly, "Senior brother Tang Ao, aren't you afraid that you'll melt the ice and snow in the surroundings by starting a fire in the snow cave?" Tang Ao shook his head and pointed to the frost blood snake that was drooling at the side. "I've made the frost blood snake reinforce the ice and snow in the surroundings. The frost blood snake's ice breath definitely won't be able to melt it at this temperature." After saying that, Tang Ao threw a golden cloud gong pig over. The frost blood snake had never eaten cooked food before, so this time, Tang Ao would let it have a taste. After tossing a gong pig to the frost blood snake, Tang Ao handed a skewer of gong pig meat to Xia Qinyu. When a martial artist cultivated to the level of Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu, they would be able to absorb heaven and earth yuan qi to replenish their bodies. They would no longer need to eat food to replenish the energy within their bodies. However, Tang Ao was never a person who wronged himself, so as long as there was delicious food, Tang Ao would naturally try it. The cloud gong pork slices paired with the 100 flowers wine was obviously an extremely delicious dish. The last time Tang Ao drank the 100 flowers wine was with Su Ning, but this time Su Ning was seriously injured and on the verge of death. Thinking of Su Ning, Tang Ao wanted to get out of this snowfield and get Shinong grass to detoxify her. Right now, the eyes in Tang Ao's eyes were Su Ning's skyline eyes. Tang Ao's eyes had been destroyed by the Golden Fang Snake Lord. Although Tang Ao's soul power was strong, he would still need his eyes in the future. Once Tang Ao got the Shinong grass and healed Su Ning, Tang Ao would naturally return the skyline eyes to Su Ning. Because of this, Tang Ao had to think of a way to find a suitable pair of eyes. With Lu Lingxuan's medical skills, as long as Tang Ao grabbed a random martial artist, Lu Lingxian would be able to transplant that martial artist's eyes to Tang Ao. However, Tang Ao couldn't do such a thing. A martial artist's eyes were extremely important to any martial artist. Because of this, Tang Ao could only use other methods to obtain a pair of eyes. To Tang Ao's knowledge, there were a total of 3 types of mystical eyes in this world. The first was Su Ning's skyline eyes. Because of the hidden jade in stone body, Tang Ao had also become a Hotian skyline eyes martialist. Furthermore, in the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm, the skyline eyes had provided Tang Ao with a lot of help. Besides the skyline eyes, there was also the Bright Emperor's eye and the Thunder Emperor's eye. Chapter 640. Xia Qinyu poured a glass of wine for Tang Ao, but found that Tang Ao was spacing out. Xia Qinyu asked, "Brother Tang Ao, what are you thinking about?" "I am thinking about how to get out of this snowfield." Tang Ao did not hide anything from Xia Qinyu. Didn't you say before that this snowfield is a huge formation? Xia Qinyu immediately recalled that Tang Ao had mentioned that this snowfield was a spirit array formation. Xia Qinyu thought that since Tang Ao could recognize that this snowfield was a huge spirit array formation, then he should have some clues. Right now, I am sure that this snowfield is a huge spell. But other than that, I can't see anything else. There was still the second half of the sentence that Tang Ao did not say. What Tang Ao wanted to say was that even with his peak-level astral-reaching realm martial artist's eyesight, he could not see anything wrong with this spell, let alone other martial artists. Therefore, to a certain extent, they might not be able to get out of this snowfield. As long as it was a formation, it would definitely have a formation eye and a formation foot. Even a natural formation was no exception. However, this snowfield was obviously man-made, but it seemed to be made by nature. Tang Ao had been in the snowfield for so long, but he did not see anything suspicious. Brother Tang Ao, then are we going to find a way out or go hunt for snow monsters? Compared to Tang Ao, Xia Qinyu was not worried at all. Xia Qinyu thought that Tang Ao was much more powerful than her. If even Tang Ao could not find a way out, then there was no point in worrying about her. On the contrary, if Tang Ao could find a way out, he would definitely take her with him. Right now there are no clues. Even if we want to find a way out, there is no way to start. Let's take a rest today. Tomorrow morning, we will continue to hunt for snow monsters. Tang Ao drank a glass of wine and laid down on the fox fur coat. This wine was indeed a treasure among wines, and Tang Ao had tasted a lot of famous wines. All of these wines had their own merits, and they were all equally matched. Only the 100 Flowers wine was superior. Unlike Su Ning, this was Xia Qinyu's first time drinking. Among all the wines, the 100 Flowers wine was mild enough, but Xia Qinyu still took a sip and stuck out her tongue. Senior brother Tang Ao, why do you like to drink this? It's so spicy. It doesn't taste good at all. Looking at Xia Qinyu's adorable appearance, Tang Ao couldn't help but say, "This is your first cup, that's why you're like this. If you drink another cup, it won't happen anymore." Xia Qinyu was skeptical of Tang Ao's words, but she still lifted the wine pot and poured herself another cup. Then, he raised his glass and took a sip. After shouting, Xia Qinyu knew that she had been tricked. She immediately walked towards Tang Ao, intending to teach Tang Ao a lesson. However, just as Xia Qinyu's slender hand was about to pinch Tang Ao's waist, Tang Ao grabbed it. Then, while Xia Qinyu was still in shock, Tang Ao brought the wine cup in his hand to Xia Qinyu's slightly opened red lip. Before Xia Qinyu could react, Tang Ao fed her a cup of 100 Flowers wine. Just now, Xia Qinyu had only taken a sip, and it was already spicy. This time, she drank so much. Xia Qinyu felt her body boiling, and her head was dizzy. Then, Xia Qinyu's body began to sway, and soon, she fell to the side. Tang Ao had only wanted to play a joke on Xia Qinyu, but he never expected that this little girl would be so weak and collapse after one cup. After Xia Qinyu was drunk, Tang Ao could only help her lie down on the fox fur coat. Tang Ao had wanted to chat with Xia Qinyu that night, but she passed out after one cup. Chapter 641. Right now, there were many people that Tang Ao was worried about, but the one that Tang Ao missed the most was still Luo Tsai. After entering the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Domain, Tang Ao lost track of Luo Tsai's whereabouts. Tang Ao had been searching for Luo Tsai, but until now, Tang Ao still didn't know where she was. Most of the people that entered the Underworld Emperor's secret realm this time were not good people. Luo Tsai was simple-minded, and in this kind of place, she would definitely be at a disadvantage. After such a long time without any news of Luo Tsai, Tang Ao also started to feel uneasy. Tang Ao's worry was very correct. Ever since entering the Underworld Emperor's secret realm, Luo Tsai and Kashihara Shui had suffered a lot. Fortunately, although the journey was difficult, the two of them had supported each other and made it through. At this moment, Luo Tsai and Kashihara Shui had also arrived outside the underworld Emperor Mountain, where Tang Ao was. In this period of time, the two of them had been fighting and fleeing, so they had become a bit thinner. After arriving outside the underworld Emperor Mountain range, Kashihara Shui said to Luo Tsai, "Senior sister Tsai, I heard that senior brother Tang Ao might be in this mountain range. If we can find him, we will be safe." Luo Tsai was not as optimistic as Kashihara Shui, but she did not want to cut off Kashihara Shui's hope. Along the way, she and Kashihara Shui had both suffered serious injuries. If not for the two of them supporting each other, they might have been trapped in the underworld Emperor's secret realm forever. According to that person just now, there is indeed a martial artist called Tang Ao in this underworld Emperor mountain range. But that Tang Ao is already at the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm. Could it be just the same name? After hearing Luo Tsai's words, Kashihara Shui was also a bit worried. Right now, Luo Tsai and Kashihara Shui were only at the 2nd level of the Sea of Souls realm. No matter how talented Tang Ao was, he should not have cultivated to the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm. That's also possible. But among the major sects in the Black-Yellow continent, senior brother Tang Ao's martial Dao talent is considered outstanding. It shouldn't be someone with the same name. Let's hope so. I heard that there are countless opportunities in this underworld Emperor mountain range. No matter what, since we're here, we should go in and take a look. Looking at the underworld Emperor mountain range, Luo Tsai quickly made a decision. After recuperating for a while, Luo Tsai and Lin Fan headed towards the underworld Emperor mountain range. And the reason why Tang Ao was famous in the underworld Emperor mountain range was because of Tang Hua. At this moment, most of the warriors in the underworld Emperor mountain range had been beaten down by Tang Hua. Hence, everyone obeyed Tang Hua's orders. Her most important order was to find Tang Ao in the underworld Dharch mountain range. Hence, news of Tang Ao spread like wildfire among the martial artists of the underworld Emperor mountain range. At this moment, Tang Hua and Lu Hanxiu were sitting on a hill. Lu Hanxiu was roasting meat for Tang Hua. Before long, a warrior rushed to Tang Hua's side. When he saw Tang Hua, he started crying. "Miss Hua, something bad has happened." Before the warrior could continue, Tang Hua immediately said, "Who asked you to call me Miss Hua? You have to call me Big Sister Hua, do you hear me?" Tang Hua placed her hands on her waist and said seriously to the warrior, "Big Sister Hua, something bad has happened. Tell me what happened." Tang Hua didn't care about the warrior's words at all. Her small eyes only glanced at Lu Hanxiu's roast meat. Chapter 642. However, after the warrior finished his analysis, Tang Hua didn't believe him at all. "Nonsense, that brat Tang Ao has a tough life. Someone, drag him down and slap him." After listening to the warrior, Tang Hua crossed her legs and sat on a rock, her two snow-white legs swinging back and forth, seeming rather bored. Tang Hua had already completely grasped the strength of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. After entering the underworld Emperor mountain range, apart from the human warriors, she had also taught a lesson to many powerful beasts. At first, Tang Hua thought it was quite fun, but now she felt somewhat bored. As for searching for Tang Ao, Tang Hua had only done it on a whim, since she didn't even know why she wanted to find Tang Ao. Just as Tang Hua was feeling bored, her eyes suddenly lit up, because she saw two people halfway up the mountain. Tang Hua waved her hand, and two 4th level Sea of Soul realm warriors hurried forward. With their strength, it would be hard to find a match in the outskirts of underworld Emperor mountain range. However, right now, their faces were covered in bruises. Clearly, they had been beaten up. And the one who had beaten them up was naturally Tang Hua. Seeing Tang Hua wave, the two walked over without hesitation. After the two came over, Tang Hui pointed at the mountain and said, "You two, go and invite the two sisters up. Hurry." Before Tang Hui transformed, she had always been by Tang Ao's side, so she naturally knew Luo Tsai and Kasahara Snow. She even knew quite a bit about the matters between Tang Ao, Luo Tsai, and Kasahara Snow. Therefore, Tang Hui immediately recognized Luo Tsai and Kasahara Snow. Tang Hui didn't have much contact with Kasahara Snow, but Luo Tsai and Tang Hui were quite close to her. As Luo Tsai and Kasahara Snow walked in the underworld Emperor Mountain Range, 2 4th-level Sea of Soul Realm warriors suddenly appeared before them. Luo Tsai and Kasahara Snow were immediately alerted. Right now, both Luo Tsai and Kasahara Yuki were only at the 2nd level of the Sea of Souls realm. Once a fight broke out, the two of them might not even have the chance to escape. However, these two martial artists were obviously not here to pick a fight. After seeing Luo Tsai and Luo Tsai, one of the warriors immediately said, "Junior sisters, our Miss Hui invites you over." "It's not Miss Hui, but Big Sister Hui." When the martial artist spoke, he pointed to his mouth, reminding his companion that the person who had just been slapped should not say anything wrong. "Big Sis Hui? I heard that there is a warrior called Tang Hui in this underworld Emperor Mountain Range who is looking for Tang Ao. Could it be her?" Luo Tsai quickly calmed down when she saw that the two warriors had no intention of fighting. That's right. Big Sister Hui has been looking for Tang Ao all this time. Do you have a portrait of Tang Ao? If the Tang Ao that Tang Hui was looking for was the Tang Ao that Luo Tsai was looking for, Luo Tsai still wanted to see Tang Hui. However, if the two of them were not looking for the same person, Luo Tsai did not want to waste her time. After Luo Tsai finished speaking, the warrior hurriedly took out a portrait. After seeing this portrait, Luo Tsai burst out laughing. On this portrait, besides the two words, Tang Ao, which was Tang Ao's name, there was no other sign that it was Tang Ao. Rather than a portrait, it was more like a child's doodle. Chapter 643. While Luo Tsai and Tang Hui were looking for Tang Ao was still in the snow cave. It was the exact opposite of the underworld Emperor Mountain Range. It was getting dark there, but it was almost dawn in the snowfield. Tang Ao knew nothing about what Tang Hui had done in the underworld Emperor Mountain Range. Although Tang Ao knew that Tang Hui was mischievous, Tang Ao would never have guessed that she was the king of the underworld Emperor Mountain Range. Fortunately, Tang Hui was just being mischievous. She didn't do anything bad because of her high cultivation level. She just teased people. Tang Ao had knocked Xia Qinyu out last night with a glass of wine, so she was still in a daze. When Xia Qinyu woke up, she only felt dizzy, but there was nothing wrong with her. Soon, Xia Qinyu recalled that Tang Ao had made her drink the night before. Xia Qinyu said angrily, "Senior brother Tang Ao, you bullied me last night. I won't work with you anymore." Xia Qinyu turned her head to the side. Seeing Xia Qinyu's angry look, Tang Ao said hurriedly, "Junior sister Xia, I was wrong. I didn't know that you couldn't hold your liquor. You actually fainted after one glass." You're still talking about it." Xia Qinyu was clearly still brooding over this. All right, I won't talk about it anymore. Junior sister Xia, I'll take you to the snowfield to hunt snow monsters today. How's your cultivation of the extreme meridian tempering technique? Tang Ao was really good at dealing with Xia Qinyu. Through this period of interaction, Tang Ao realized that as long as he changed the topic, Xia Qinyu would follow his lead no matter what she was doing. As Tang Ao had expected, when Tang Ao asked Xia Qinyu about her cultivation of the extreme meridian tempering technique, Xia Qinyu immediately said, "Senior brother Tang Ao, the extreme meridian tempering technique has a total of 9 stages. I've already cultivated to the 3rd stage. As long as you don't use the Tai Ching mysterious mirror with all your strength, it won't be a problem to use it casually. That's good. Today's hunting of snow monsters will give you some experience. I'll help you hold the line. After Xia Qinyu obtained the Tai Ching mysterious mirror, she had been assisting Tang Ao in battle. Xia Qinyu had never fought alone. Tang Ao would have to part with Xia Qinyu sooner or later. Xia Qinyu possessed such a supreme treasure. Xia Qinyu would be in grave danger if she didn't have a strong combat power. However, powerful combat power and skilled combat experience were not things that could be obtained overnight. Now that Tang Ao was unable to leave the snowfield, and the snow monster's fighting style was simple, they were also quite strong. This way, Xia Qinyu could use these snow monsters to practice her skills. Otherwise, after Xia Qinyu left Tang Ao in the future, even if she had the mysterious clear mirror, an 8th-grade divine weapon, it would be extremely easy for it to fall into the hands of other martial artists. In the previous battles, most of the time, Tang Ao didn't need Xia Qinyu's help. This time, Xia Qinyu heard Tang Ao say that she would fight alone, while Tang Ao would assist her. This made Xia Qinyu very happy. She was so excited that she almost wanted to hug Tang Ao. "Senior brother Tang Ao, when do we set off?" "Yes, let's set off now. It just so happens that there's a snow monster from the 5th floor of Linghaijing on the snowfield above us." An azure blue light glowed in Tang Ao's eyes. With the sky polar eyes, Tang Ao could see everything on the snowfield clearly. Chapter 644. However, as the first warrior to come to the snowfield, Tang Ao still discovered some clues. The number of warriors on the snowy plains was decreasing at an alarming rate. Murong Xiao, Yen Yen, and the others were the first batch of warriors Tang Ao met on the snowfield. However, during these days, apart from the seriously injured Yen Yen, Tang Ao did not see anyone else, including Murong Xiao. Although Tang Ao believed that with Murong Xiao's means, it wouldn't be a problem for him to survive in this snowfield. However, Tang Ao believed that although this snowfield was incomparably dangerous, it was far from being as dangerous as Murong Xiao. Only a cultivator with the strength of Murong Xiao could survive. At first, Tang Ao thought that Murong Xiao and the others were not in the same area as him, but after Tang Ao went to several areas in succession, Tang Ao found that he did not encounter a single warrior who came in with Murong Xiao and the others. If Tang Ao had not seen Yen Yen not long ago, Tang Ao would really suspect that Murong Xiao and the others had disappeared mysteriously. While Tang Ao was thinking, Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu also arrived on the snowfield. After coming to the snowfield this time, Tang Ao discovered another strange thing. In the past, the snowfield had a suppressive effect on the spiritual power in the bodies of warriors, but at this moment, the space above the snowfield was the same as the space outside. There was no suppression on the spiritual power in the bodies of warriors. "Junior sister Xia, is the spiritual power in your body still suppressed?" Tang Ao was not sure if it was because his soul power had broken through to the life and death realm, so he specifically asked Xia Qinyu. After Tang Ao asked, Xia Qinyu also said in surprise, "Senior brother Tang Ao, the suppression on the warrior's spiritual power in the snowfield seems to have disappeared." Tang Ao was not as optimistic as Xia Qinyu about this matter. In Tang Ao's opinion, since the Shennong Emperor had set up 3 tests here to select his successor, it naturally wouldn't be that simple. Now, Tang Ao increasingly felt that everything he had encountered before was constantly increasing the strength of the martial artists who were challenging the trials. Why did the Shennong Emperor want to improve the strength of the martial artists? Naturally, he wanted the martial artists to undergo the final assessment. As the suppression of spiritual power in the snowfield disappeared, Tang Ao felt that the final assessment was coming. Understanding this, Tang Ao relaxed. Previously, Tang Ao was worried that he would be trapped here forever. But now that he realized that the Shennong Emperor was very likely to set up the final assessment, Tang Ao had nothing to worry about. As long as the Shennong Emperor didn't want to trap everyone here forever, then no matter how difficult the Shennong Emperor's final assessment was, Tang Ao was not afraid. There were 3 reasons for Tang Ao's confidence. One was that he had trained the primordial sacred sky bow with 300 layers of star seals. The second was his powerful soul power after breaking through to the life and death realm, and the third was his experience as a 9th-level astral-reaching realm warrior in his previous life. In the current snowfield, although Tang Ao wasn't the strongest martial artist, in terms of comprehensive strength, Tang Ao was confident that he could take the lead. The Shennong Emperor had set up the heritage ruins, whether it was to seize the body of a suitable martial artist or to select a suitable successor. As long as Tang Ao's strength was strong enough, the one who would pass the assessment in the end would definitely be Tang Ao. Senior brother Tang Ao, I'm making my move. Not long after Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu appeared on the snowfield, a snow monster rushed toward the two. Xia Qinyu also hurriedly controlled the mysterious clear mirror to her side, ready to fight at any time. Chapter 645. The wind in the snowfield was very strong, blowing up the snowy mist into people's faces. Tang Ao had traveled to many places in his previous life, so naturally, Tang Ao had been to a lot of snowfields as well. In Tang Ao's memory, there should be rime ice on the snowfield. However, on this snowfield, there was nothing but endless ice and snow. Although the snowfield was divided into 4 regions, there was no end to it no matter which direction one walked in. Tang Ao's soul power could cover half of a region, but that was only relative to the center of the snowfield. If he were to include the outer regions, even an astral-reaching realm warrior might not be able to cover such a large area with his soul power. Tang Ao was a peak level 9 astral-reaching realm warrior in his previous life. Therefore, what Tang Ao said was quite convincing. Of course, Tang Ao's soul power in his previous life was not as outstanding as it was in this life. Therefore, Tang Ao only said it was possible, not certain. While Tang Ao was thinking, Xia Qinyu and the Sea of Souls Realm Level 4 snow monster were also fighting. This snow monster was almost 6 meters tall, covered in snow-white fur, and had sharp claws made of ice on its limbs. The snow monster opened its bloody mouth and roared, as if it wanted to tear Xia Qinyu apart. However, Xia Qinyu's body was extremely light and agile, and she was able to avoid the snow monster's attack every time. Unlike Tang Ao's fierce and domineering fighting style, Xia Qinyu walked the path of dexterity. Most of the female warriors also had this fighting style, because their bodies were much more agile than the male warriors. Of course, there were also some female martialists who walked the tough and domineering path. However, these female martialists were not as delicate and gentle as Xia Qinyu. At the same time, there were some male warriors who were more feminine, which was disgusting. In Tang Ao's opinion, this was a broad classification. If it were to be broken down, then every warrior's fighting style would be different. But no matter what, as long as it could defeat the enemy, it was worth it. Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu had been together for a long time, but this was the first time Tang Ao had seen Xia Qinyu's life soul. Although Xia Qinyu's life souls weren't of a high grade and were all 21st Firmament life souls, Xia Qinyu's 4 life souls were a set of combined life souls. In terms of rarity, Xia Qinyu's combined life soul was almost on par with Tang Ao's unique battle sage bone life soul. Although a combination and life soul weren't unique, this was the first time Tang Ao had seen a combined life soul in his previous life. The combined life soul was different from the system. However, when they worked together, their power was extraordinary. At that moment, Xia Qinyu released her life soul. Many blue transparent butterflies circled around her. As Xia Qinyu moved, a pair of butterfly wings naturally materialized behind her. It was also because of this pair of butterfly wings that Xia Qinyu's body was exceptionally agile. Moreover, when Xia Qinyu fought, a group of butterflies surrounded her, and a pair of transparent wings spread behind her. She was like a butterfly fairy dancing, which was extremely pleasing to the eye. Tang Ao couldn't help but be a little dazed. However, the snow monster that was fighting with Xia Qinyu didn't understand the mood at all. At that moment, the snow monster only wanted to tear the little butterfly that was circling around it to pieces. The main purpose of Tang Ao bringing Xia Qinyu up this time was to let her familiarize herself with using the Tai Ching mysterious mirror to fight. Chapter 646. Before entering the underworld Emperor's secret realm, the highest cultivation among all the martial artists was only at the peak of the 9th level of the origin martial realm. Most of the martial artists had spent decades or even decades to reach that level. However, after entering the underworld Emperor's secret realm, within half a year, most of the martial artists had already reached the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm or even higher. As a result, most of the martial artists' battle experience and cultivation did not match up. Of course, Tang Ao could be counted as an exception, because Tang Ao was a peak level 9 astral reaching realm martial artist in his previous life. Therefore, Tang Ao's battle awareness and battle experience could keep up. Even though Tang Ao did not follow the cultivation path of his previous life in this life, he only knew that Tang Ao's progress in the martial Tao was completely under Tang Ao's control. The only thing that dissatisfied Tang Ao was that his cultivation was still too low. Only those who had seen a higher level of cultivation would know that the weak were not even comparable to the ants. Although the overall power of the martial artists in the Black-Yellow continent was not as strong as before, the law of the jungle had not changed. In order to obtain power, many people would do anything. Back then, Qin Yueshuang was just like that. In order to obtain a mere destiny stone, she had set up such a scheme to frame Tang Ao. If Tang Ao was not the reincarnation of a demon lord, whose mind and vision were incomparable to ordinary people, Tang Ao might have already died from shame. Thinking of Qin Yueshuang, Tang Ao also became vigilant. In this underworld Emperor's secret realm trial, his biggest enemy was still Qin Yueshuang. Although Tang Ao said that he did not care about the purple myrtle heaven fate Tao body, in Tang Ao's heart, it was still very important. Others might not know, but Tang Ao was very clear about the terror of the purple myrtle heaven fate Tao body. In the eyes of ordinary people, the purple myrtle heaven fate Tao body and the hidden jade in stone body could not be compared at all. The hidden jade in stone body would be much more powerful. In fact, the specialty of the purple myrtle heaven fate Tao body was the cultivation method. If the owner of the purple myrtle heaven fate Tao body did not have a suitable cultivation method, then it would naturally be inferior to the hidden jade in stone body. Once a warrior with the purple myrtle destiny Tao physique had a suitable cultivation technique, then the power of the purple myrtle destiny Tao physique would undoubtedly be revealed. After Tang Ao reached the peak of astral reaching realm level 9 in his previous life, he had been through 3 life-threatening situations. The first time was when he broke into the Heavenly Bow Gate at night and was injured by the primordial sacred Heavenly Bow. The second time was when he fought with a martial artist with the great accomplishment Heaven's Mandate Purple Myrtle Tao Constitution. Of course, to be able to injure Tang Ao to such an extent, the other party was definitely not in a good state. Senior brother Tang Ao, I can't beat it. While Tang Ao was still reminiscing, Xia Qinyu's voice suddenly came to Tang Ao's ears. Tang Ao was speechless after hearing Xia Qinyu's words. Xia Qinyu did not use the mysterious clear mirror to fight, but now she was using her own life spirit to deal with a snow monster with low intelligence, and Xia Qinyu said that she could not beat it. This snow monster was only at the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm, while Xia Qinyu was already a martial artist on the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. Chapter 647. The reason why the reputation of Tai Ching Xian Mirror was so famous was that the current sect master of the Tai Ching sect contributed a lot. Because Tang Ao heard that although this sect master couldn't find Tai Ching Xian Mirror, he had painstakingly studied it for thousands of years. Then, according to the information left in the Tai Ching sect, he made a replica of Tai Ching Xian Mirror. The power of the replica Tai Ching Xian Mirror was naturally far inferior to the original, but because there were no practical restrictions, and its power was not bad, Tai Ching Xian Mirror was widely known after the Tai Ching sect master used it several times in public. In his previous life, the Tai Ching sect was the leader of the righteous sections. At that time, the Tai Ching sect also didn't have Tai Ching Xian Mirror, but the strength of the Tai Ching sect couldn't be underestimated. After 10,000 years, the once prosperous Tai Ching sect actually fell to such a point that they needed to rely on a replica to promote the sect. Fortunately, although the Tai Ching sect declined, they still cultivated a selfless disciple like Xia Qinyu. And this time, Xia Qinyu didn't fail her mission. She found the long-lost Tai Ching Xian Mirror in the Underworld Emperor's secret realm. After finding Tai Ching Xian Mirror, Xia Qinyu also learned how to use Tai Ching Xian Mirror with the help of Tang Ao. It was just that Xia Qinyu wasn't proficient in using Tai Ching Xian Mirror now, and she couldn't even deal with a snow monster at the 4th level of Sea Spirit Realm. Of course, Xia Qinyu said that she couldn't beat it, but she wasn't in danger. It was just that Xia Qinyu couldn't defeat a snow monster at the 4th level of Sea Spirit Realm with the cultivation of the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. At this moment, Xia Qinyu couldn't defeat the snow monster immediately. Instead, she had to rely on her dexterous movement to constantly dodge the snow monster's attack. Although Xia Qinyu and Tang Ao were able to cooperate with each other with ease, and they were able to display outstanding combat power, under the joint efforts of the two, they even almost killed Feng Hongjian, who broke through to the 8th level of Sea Spirit Realm temporarily. But even so, Tang Ao still thought that Xia Qinyu had to be able to stand on her own. Because now, although Tang Ao had a good relationship with Xia Qinyu, Tang Ao couldn't be with Xia Qinyu forever. After thinking about it, Tang Ao felt that the statement just now was too absolute. However, it was impossible for them to be together in the short term. In Tang Ao's eyes, be it Sea of Souls realm cultivators or Life and Death realm cultivators, they were all ant. Only by breaking through to the astral reaching realm would one have the right to speak in this world and live a good life. However, Tang Ao's current cultivation base was merely at the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. There was still a long way to go before he reached the astral reaching realm. Even if Tang Ao was a reincarnated astral reaching realm warrior, Tang Ao was not sure if he could break through to the astral reaching realm, or when he would. In this life, because Tang Ao had the cultivation experience of his previous life, Tang Ao's foundation was very good at the beginning. This meant that in this life, Tang Ao might be able to reach a higher level than his previous life. However, the astral reaching realm was still the biggest dividing line for countless warriors. Although the overall strength of the warriors in the Black-Yellow continent was not as good as before, the number of Life and Death realm warriors, as far as Tang Ao knew, was still more than 100. However, there didn't seem to be a single astral reaching realm warrior in the current Black-Yellow continent. Among the 8 great sects and 6 great families of desolation, Supreme Elder Fengya of the 7 Kill sect, who had the highest cultivation base on the surface, was only a half-step astral-reaching realm warrior, not a true astral-reaching realm warrior. As for whether there were any sects with astral-reaching realm old monsters in the dark, Tang Ao had no idea. However, in Tang Ao's opinion, there was most likely none. Chapter 648. Now that he was still by Xia Qinyu's side, Xia Qinyu didn't have to worry about her safety. But even so, Xia Qinyu was flustered after fighting the snow monster for so long. Tang Ao saw that in the beginning, Xia Qinyu could still use the butterfly life soul to nimbly swim around the snow monster, but now, Xia Qinyu seemed a little anxious. Her actions weren't methodical. Furthermore, Tang Ao realized that after fighting the snow monster for so long, Xia Qinyu's ferocity had been stirred up by Xia Qinyu. The snow monster didn't dodge Xia Qinyu's attack and took the opportunity to attack Xia Qinyu. Upon seeing this strike, Tang Ao was somewhat hesitant. With Tang Ao's speed, he could save Xia Qinyu in time when she was in danger. This way, Xia Qinyu would only suffer a little shock. At the same time, Tang Ao felt that this was an opportunity. The more dangerous the situation, the more it could stimulate a warrior's potential. Xia Qinyu could only use the Great Purity Mystic Mirror to withstand the snow monster's strike. He didn't know if Xia Qinyu would suddenly take out the Great Purity Mystic Mirror in the face of a life-and-death crisis. If Xia Qinyu could take out the Great Purity Mystic Mirror at the critical moment, not only could she resolve the crisis, but she could also turn the tables. Furthermore, this experience would be extremely beneficial to Xia Qinyu's future cultivation. With this in mind, Tang Ao stabilized his body and prepared to deal with the worst-case scenario. In a while, if Xia Qinyu couldn't take out the Great Purity Mystic Mirror, Tang Ao would immediately save Xia Qinyu. This way, Xia Qinyu could also experience danger. Furthermore, Tang Ao was 100% confident that Xia Qinyu wouldn't be injured. Tang Ao's plan wasn't bad, but Tang Ao still ignored external factors. As Xia Qinyu fought the snow monster, a hearty voice suddenly sounded from afar. "Junior sister, I'm here to help you." Following that, a white-robed youth descended from the sky. Furthermore, while he was in midair, an extremely sharp sword beam pierced through the snow monster's glabella. After the sword chi pierced through the snow monster's forehead, it fell to the ground with a thud. After that, a jade-white ball of light slowly floated up from the snow monster's stomach and quietly hovered in front of the three of them. After killing the snow monster, Lin Yuten came to Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu. Lin Yuten wanted to say a few polite words, but after seeing Xia Qinyu, Lin Yuten suddenly became speechless. Lin Yuten had been living in seclusion all these years, painstakingly learning the sword. He had never seen such a beautiful woman before. While Lin Yuten was sizing up Xia Qinyu, Tang Ao was also looking at Lin Yuten. Tang Ao was also secretly surprised by Lin Yuten's sword. Tang Ao felt that if he was caught off guard, he might not be able to avoid such a swift and fierce sword. Lin Yuten was dressed in a white brocade robe. His facial features were very handsome, and he could be considered a beautiful man. However, when Tang Ao looked at Lin Yuten, he didn't care about his appearance, because he gave Tang Ao the feeling that he was a sharp sword with hidden sharpness. As for Xia Qinyu, she was attracted by the jade-white ball of light that flew out of the snow monster's stomach. Within the jade-white ball of light, there was a dazzling purple flame. Xia Qinyu didn't recognize the purple flame, but she felt that it was very beautiful. Girls, especially beautiful girls, would always like beautiful things. Chapter 649. When Tang Ao heard that Lin Yuten was able to recognize the purple foxfire, he couldn't help but think highly of him. Tang Ao had never underestimated Lin Yuten, but after Lin Yuten recognized the purple foxfire, Tang Ao realized that he had underestimated Lin Yuten. Similarly, after Tang Ao recognized the purple foxfire, Lin Yuten looked at Tang Ao with slight surprise. Lin Yuten could recognize that this was the purple foxfire. The reason was simple. Lin Yuten was not from the black-yellow continent. Of course, Lin Yuten was not from the Five Elements demon region either. Lin Yuten came from a higher plane. However, after Lin Yuten accidentally came to the black-yellow continent from a higher plane, he couldn't find his way back. After some investigation, Lin Yuten discovered that there was a high possibility that there was a passage to the true martial domain in the Emperor Ming's secret land. Therefore, Lin Yuten came to the Emperor Ming's secret land on behalf of a small sect. The reason why Tang Ao could recognize the purple fox fire was even simpler. In his previous life, Tang Ao had obtained the purple fox fire from a relic. However, there was a cute girl following Tang Ao. Tang Ao couldn't resist the purple fox fire and gave it to her. He didn't expect to encounter the purple fox fire again in this life under such circumstances. In Tang Ao's previous life, there weren't many people who knew about the purple fox fire. In this life, Tang Ao felt that no one would be able to recognize the purple fox fire. He didn't expect that this boy, who he had never seen before, could recognize the purple fox fire at a glance. "Senior brother, you are very knowledgeable. My name is Lin Yuten. May I know your name?" Lin Yuten introduced himself before Tang Ao could speak. "I am Tang Ao, and this is junior sister Xia Qinyu. Since junior sister Xia likes this purple fox fire, please keep it. I don't think junior brother Lin will fight with junior sister Xia over this purple fox fire." In his previous life, the purple fox fire was nothing to Tang Ao. However, in this life, Tang Ao was only a warrior on the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. Therefore, this ball of purple fox fire was very precious. The purple fox fire could achieve twice the results with half the effort whether it was used for alchemy or refining tools. Moreover, the purple fox fire was of the yin attribute, so it was very suitable for Xia Qinyu. After spending so much time with Xia Qinyu, Tang Ao naturally knew that Xia Qinyu possessed a supreme grade wood spirit root. Supreme grade wood spiritual root spiritual vein could be said to be the most suitable candidate to become an alchemist. Tang Ao had originally intended for Xia Qinyu to learn alchemy, and now that Xia Qinyu had obtained this ball of purple fox fire, it was a good thing. At this moment, Lin Yuten's heart was in extreme pain, because although Lin Yuten was not an alchemist, Lin Yuten was a refiner. Furthermore, Lin Yuten possessed quite a few rare flames. However, Lin Yuten did not possess the violet fox flame. To be honest, Lin Yuten really wanted this ball of purple fox fire, but when he saw Xia Qinyu's innocent eyes, Lin Yuten really couldn't say no. Although he was the one who killed the snow monster, Lin Yuten could also see that even if he didn't do anything, Tang Ao could help Xia Qinyu kill the snow monster with a glance. Therefore, Lin Yuten could only smile bitterly and nod. Lin Yuten couldn't see through Tang Ao's strength, but Lin Yuten could guess the reason why he couldn't see through Tang Ao's strength. Lin Yuten had awakened the boundless heaven eye's life soul. In this world, other than the hidden jade and stone that could hide one's cultivation, Lin Yuten could see through other cultivation method. When Tang Ao mentioned the purple fox fire, Lin Yuten used the boundless heaven eyes to look at Tang Ao, but Lin Yuten couldn't see through Tang Ao's true strength. Therefore, Lin Yuten boldly guessed that Tang Ao was the owner of the hidden jade and stone. Chapter 650. Tang Ao had a good impression of Lin Yuten, because he was a warrior from the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. Although Lin Yuten had hidden his cultivation to the 5th floor of Linghai Jing, Tang Ao's sky polar eyes could still see through his cultivation. Tang Ao was sure that if it were any other warrior from the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, they would definitely make a move against 2 warriors from the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. However, Lin Yuten didn't make a move. Not only did he not make a move, but he also didn't have any intention of making a move. It could be seen that he was a straightforward person. Although Lin Yuten didn't want to make a move, he was still thinking about the purple fox fire. Lin Yuten didn't want to take the purple fox fire from Xia Qinyu. He just wanted to trade with her. However, the purple fox fire was not an ordinary item. Therefore, Lin Yuten couldn't just take out something to trade with Xia Qinyu. Thinking about this, Lin Yuten looked at Xia Qinyu again. Xia Qinyu saw Lin Yuten looking at her with a strange expression, so she immediately hid behind Tang Ao. Lin Yuten had just killed a 4th level Sea of Souls realm snow monster with a sword chi, so he must be a powerful warrior. If Lin Yuten had any bad intentions towards her, then it would be terrible. Tang Ao had the sky polar eyes, so he could naturally see that Lin Yuten had awakened the sky polar eyes life spirit. The sky polar eyes life spirit had a special characteristic, which was that it could see through everything. Generally speaking, a martial artist with the peerless heaven's eyes life spirit would peep at an unfamiliar martial artist like this. Under Lin Yuten's sky polar eyes life spirit, Lin Yuten knew that Xia Qinyu had an extreme wood spirit root. Immediately, Lin Yuten said to Xia Qinyu, "Junior sister Xia, what do you think? This purple fox fire is very important to me, and I see that you have a top-grade wood spirit root. I think you want to become an alchemist." After saying that, Lin Yuten took out 9 scrolls of jade slips from her storage ring. "Junior sister Xia, these 9 scrolls of jade slips are the Heavenly Elixir 9 scrolls of the Heavenly Elixir sect from 10,000 years ago. I will use them and a ball of peach blossom fire to exchange for your purple fox fire. What do you think?" Upon hearing Lin Yuten's words, Xia Qinyu didn't say anything. Instead, she looked at Tang Ao. Whether it was the purple fox fire, the peach blossom fire, or the 9 scrolls of heavenly elixir, Xia Qinyu did not know any of these things, nor did she know their value, so Xia Qinyu wanted Tang Ao to help her decide. After thinking for a moment, Tang Ao said to Lin Yuten, "Junior sister Xia can exchange with you, but she has to take a wisp of origin flame from the purple fox fire and keep it as a fire seed. What do you think?" Tang Ao's words made Lin Yuten silent. The purple fox fire in Xia Qinyu's hands had already evolved completely, and he could use it immediately after obtaining it. But if he separated a fire seed, he could spend some time to cultivate the purple fox fire, but he couldn't use it immediately. Although he was not in a hurry to use the purple fox fire, Tang Ao's request still put him in a difficult position. Seeing that Lin Yuten didn't speak for a long time, Tang Ao continued, "There are countless treasures in the Underworld Emperor's mystic realm. After taking a fire seed, you only need a few purple flame crystals to nourish it, and the purple fox fire will be able to recover. After the Underworld Emperor's mystic realm ends, there will be an exchange for a few purple flame crystals. It shouldn't be difficult to buy a few purple flame crystals at the exchange." Chapter 651. Tang Ao didn't expect Lin Yuten to be so bold as to choose a transaction of payment first and delivery later. In fact, the value of the peach blossom fire was not lower than that of the purple fox fire. However, the peach blossom fire was different from the purple fox fire in that it did not belong to yin and yang, but to wood. If it was used for alchemy, a wood-attributed fire seed would naturally be better, but if it was used for refining weapons, it was somewhat unsuitable. The Heavenly Elixir sect's 9 volumes of Heavenly Elixir sect also had a great origin. It was said that the 9 volumes of Heavenly Elixir sect were passed down from generation to generation. After Tang Ao's death in his previous life, he naturally didn't know about it. At the same time, Tang Ao didn't expect that the 9 volumes of Heavenly Elixir sect would end up in Xia Qinyu's hands. Alchemy in the world was divided into 9 grades. For example, with Tang Ao's current cultivation, the corresponding alchemy was basically a 4th grade alchemy or even a 5th grade alchemy. However, 4th grade alchemy was still fine. Although 4th grade alchemists were rare in the Black-Yellow continent, top sects like the 7 Kills sect still had no lack of 4th grade alchemists. 5th grade alchemy was not so easy to find, as it was effective for Sea of Soul realm and even Life and Death realm warriors. However, even a top sect like the 7 Kills sect didn't have a 5th grade alchemist. Of course, the 7 Kills sect didn't have a 5th grade alchemist, but they did have a 6th grade alchemist. Supreme Elder Feng Ye was a 6th grade alchemist. However, Feng Ye was already in his twilight years, and the alchemy inheritance of the 7 Kills sect obviously didn't continue. At least, that was how it looked on the surface. Although Tang Ao was a 6th grade alchemist in his previous life, his alchemy was not learned in the 7 Kills sect. Even though Tang Ao alchemy had only been used a few times in this life, Tang Ao still had some memories from his previous life. It was just that he hadn't practiced alchemy for a long time and was a bit rusty. Secondly, the strength of an alchemist was largely determined by the strength of the alchemist's soul power. In this life, Tang Ao's soul power had grown much better than in his previous life. Tang Ao felt that his achievements in alchemy wouldn't stop at his previous life's level. While Tang Ao was lost in his thoughts, Lin Yuten took out the 9 volumes of Heavenly Core Pills and handed it to Xia Qinyu. She also gave Xia Qinyu a jade bottle that contained a pink flame. Others might not know much about the 9 Heavenly Pill scrolls, but for Tang Ao, it was like a thunderclap piercing his ears. In his previous life, Tang Ao had a good relationship with the 2 old men from the Heavenly Elixir sect. Therefore, Tang Ao knew that the Heavenly Elixir 9 scrolls were passed down from generation to generation by the sect master of the Heavenly Elixir sect. In Tang Ao's memory, the sect master of the Heavenly Elixir sect was basically an 8th grade alchemist or even a 9th grade alchemist. The 9 scrolls of the Heavenly Elixir were passed down from generation to generation by the sect master of the Heavenly Elixir sect. Although it was clearly stated in the 9 scrolls of the Heavenly Elixir sect, Lin Yuten came from a high-class plane and didn't care about the alchemy sects of this plane. Therefore, after Lin Yuten received the 9 scrolls of the Heavenly Elixir sect, he only felt that it was average. After Tang Ao saw Lin Yuten give the 9 scrolls of the Heavenly Elixir sect and the Peach Blossom Fire to Xia Qinyu, he thought for a moment and said to Xia Qinyu, "Junior sister Xia, give the Purple Fox Fire to junior brother Lin Yuten." Lin Yuten's suggestion was good, but in that case, Lin Yuten would have to follow Tang Ao and Xia Qinyu. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.